All right, it's gonna be 9 o'clock somewhere, so we'll get started and call this regularly scheduled November 23rd, 2021 session of Fiscal Court into order. And I'd like to start out with an invocation by Magistrate John Caywood.
Excuse me. May we come together in prayer. Thursday we come together with family and friends and thank you for our many blessings. As a community and as a country, we are a family. May we realize the value of each other with love and with respect, regardless of our differences of thought. We are all special in our own way and have many skills and talents to help each other. May we recognize this is the spirit that we should live each and every day. Love one another, for this is the teachings of our Creator. Many will not be with their families because they are protecting us. Be with them and may they realize that we thank them for their willingness to serve and their sacrifice. Be with our decision makers and may we use wisdom and understanding to perform our duties. May we remember we serve all and not just a few. Thanksgiving is a special day. May every day be one of thanksgiving and thank of all of our many blessings. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, if you join me in our Pledge of Allegiance to our flag. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All righty, thank you. Let's go over our minutes and of the prior meeting, and they're there for you to have looked at, and we have a motion to approve the last regular meeting, scheduled meeting minutes.
I'll second.
November 9th, made by Magistrate Simmons and seconded by Magistrate Short. Yes, sir.
One almost amusing and minor correction. Jimi Hendrix, who died before he was 30, spelled his name Hendrix. Jack is in here two places, and I don't think he's kin. It's down under consent.
R-I-C-K-S.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I'll fix it.
We'll fix that. Noted.
I have one.
Okay.
On the second page,
Yes, sir.
go down to Julie,
Okay.
last sentence. The collection on taxes to date that has been collected is over 400,000. Should that read the collections on past due
Yes.
taxes to date
Yes.
is over
Yes,
400,000?
that's more accurate.
That's, thank you, sir.
Good change.
Important change.
Yeah.
Okay, anybody else? With those changes and annotations made, all those in favor of approving the minutes, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. All right. Next, we need to approve some bills. And we got a handout here that's hot off the press. Darlene, you want to go through that?
Yeah, it looks like the bills to be paid are $378,479.13. There were a few things that were added over the last couple of days. To be honest with you, I was a little under the weather and was not here yesterday, so I don't know exactly what those were. But everything should be included in this packet. This is the most up to date.
I move we pay the bills as presented.
Second.
I have a motion to approve the bills as presented by Magistrate Gay and seconded by Magistrate Simmons. Is there any questions, comments, or about the motion in the bills?
We just gotta remember to use microphones.
Okay, she didn't have one down there. Nope.
I have one question on the bills.
Speak up real loud if you don't mind, please.
I have one question on the bills on, page 5, exquisite jewelry, jail ammo, what is that?
Ammunition.
I know what ammunition is, but why are we buying ammunition for the jail? $2,175? It's a lot of ammo.
They're required to qualify.
Yeah, I mean, they've got to shoot, to train, and qualify to carry the weapons. So,
And I bought ammo recently,
That-
and it
that's-
is outrageous.
That doesn't get you a whole lot like it used to.
I'm just wondering, I mean, how many qualify? All the deputies?
I think they're
40,
required to.
38.
How many
Now
qualify
we've got
for
the
the
About ammunition on training was $2,100.
2175?
That's the best we could get. Well, you can't, it takes us 9 months to get ammo through like Kiesler's, which is the big, and they can't even guarantee it. So we bought it here locally, and that was the
Well, I'm
best.
glad you
We
bought it. I'm
shopped
glad
it.
you bought it locally. That just sounds like a lot of
And
money.
ammo is high. If you've bought any ammo or anybody, it's all high.
What are you using? What
We're
round?
using, we have to buy 40 caliber rounds because that's for our pistols. That's
Right.
what we use, and then we have to buy shotgun rounds
Okay.
because we have to qualify. No, we don't train on the 223. We do the shotgun 12 gauge and the Glock 40s.
Now, do you have a place out at the jail where you store extras?
Yes, we store it, and usually now we're hoping, of course, North Point, because we have to certify twice a year because that's part of the Department of Correction standards as far as them being able to transport inmates and carry a firearm. And so we have to qualify twice a year. So we bought a
Any
bunch of
particular
them.
months?
Whenever we can get the range, it's up to
When you get
North Point. When they're not having a class go through, they usually let us. The last time with COVID, they weren't allowing anyone or any outside agencies to use their range, and we had to go to a place over in Bergen.
You use the same range at Danville Police Department?
I think they have their own range, and usually we
Right,
go out to
off,
North Point because North
34.
Point is set up for. Well, it's got a classroom there,
Yeah.
so we can hook up our computer and everything because you have to take a test to get certified initially, and then after that you do a requal.
I thought years ago we used the same range that Danville did. We quit doing that.
I'm not. I've been out there one time, and I think we did use it before, but it's easier for us to go to North Point.
Is it?
It's better set up because they have the classroom there. It's a building with at the
Talk about
range.
what to do and so on before you go to the
Right,
range.
because
I
they have to
think.
go through a class, and then they have to test.
Okay.
They have a written test. They have to pass the written test to go on to do the practical, the shooting, and then they have to pass that too. So they have to
Okay.
take 2 tests. It's just better set up for us. It's easier
You
to get in
qual
now.
twice a year, right?
Yes.
Qualified.
Well, one of them's technically a requal, but if there's somebody that we've
Okay,
hired,
it is.
if somebody's hired in new that needs the qualification, we'll do that class as well for
this-
them and break it up.
Is this amount of ammo, does that do you or twice or just once?
It should get us through. It depends on, because usually if somebody's new, we say it's 100 rounds because they're going to pre-qual and then qual, so they're going to shoot 100 rounds. And then if it's a requal, it's 50 rounds if they pass.
Okay.
And if they don't pass, then we'll do them again, and that's another 50 rounds.
Okay.
Last time I checked, 40s were nearly $1.
They're expensive. And then also, I know it came up at CAECO that if any of you all were wanting to carry, you could come out there with us and take the test, to go through the training, the test, and everything. And I think the way they talk CAECO would cover, because you're going through certified, we have a certified training.
Related to that and beyond just the shooting, the training, I'm glad you're mentioning that, because to show you the sensitivity of what these men and women that we have face, tragedy in another state this week, the deputy was transporting one of the inmates, and he disarmed her and killed her.
Where was this, Tom?
I'm sorry, I don't remember the state, but a young woman, I don't think she was 30 years old, and she was overpowered. So that training is every bit
It's
as essential
important
as the shooting.
because we're required to protect the safety of the inmate we're transporting. So let's say, they could be a pedophile, and we've had these, we've had men in there that's raped and killed children. Well, when they're coming to court, if a family member wants revenge, it's real easy to do, and it's, my deputy has to protect them, and it's important for it. And you know, me personally, I'm not even shooting as much as I used to because the price of ammo. I'm looking at maybe starting to reload my own, but ammo is expensive and it's hard to get, and you can't get it like normal.
I'm wondering, does the association or the state, DOC, give any latitude on digital qualification?
No, it has to be
Live fire?
You have to be live fire because that's what you're going to do in real life.
I wish they would consider that because of the cost of ammo. It would help because you can get the same impact and feel on a digital, these systems that are out there now.
You can, but and I've done those with the other. You know, they're good for a refresher, but me personally, they need to be out there shooting the gun.
Do we gather our cartridges? Because I've been a member out at Junction, and I've seen guys purposefully gather everybody else's.
Yeah,
we
collect our brass after
Good.
it's over. So, but that's just the price of ammo.
Any other questions?
No, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jailer.
All right, we have a motion, and it was seconded. Is there any other questions to the motion on approval of the bills? Do you need, do I need to read back who made the motion, who seconded? Okay, you got it, okay. All those in favor of approving the bills as by motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously, thank you.
Can we get Ronnie and John their mic back? Well, no, I mean that one down there. We're gonna have somebody come in a second. Thank you. Sorry. Yeah,
Yep. All right, make budget transfers.
thought we did after last time. I'll ask.
There are no cash or budget transfers to be made.
Okay, all right. We'll move on to consent calendar. First, on my first is to recognize Mr. Ron Devrick for his assistance. Hi, Miss June.
Hey, good morning.
Look at you. Great.
Wait a minute, let me see this here.
You dressed up. Look at you.
Clean up night.
We're in Sunday school together.
Well, go ahead, Jackie. I'd like for you to start out because Jackie worked with Ron. And just real quick, if I could kind of kick it off just a little bit. I got more to say here in a second. But Ron graciously offered his many years of experience and helped us through a transitional period on personnel in the treasurer's office. And his assistance was absolutely so beneficial. It was just not even, it's hard to describe. And so we want to take this time to show our appreciation for his efforts.
One might say eye-opening.
Eye-opening.
Yeah,
Speak
When
up
I-
real good for the mic.
when I first jumped into the acting treasurer position, I sat in there and kind of was spinning my wheels thinking, what have I got myself into? So then Ron come in and he saved the day for me. He was a godsend and he helped me through a lot, and I'm very, very appreciative of that. And I want to thank you.
We have a certificate of appreciation that I'd like to read to Ron and June because she was there to support him in his time of helping us. And the certificate of appreciation says, Mr. Ron Devrick has provided the Boyle County Fiscal Court with several hours of service that supported the efficiency and effective operations of county government services to the benefit of Boyle County residents. As a subject matter expert, he demonstrated professionalism and dedication significantly benefited the function and management of the Boyle County Treasurer's Office during a time of personnel transition. Mr. Devrick provided several decades of excellence in corporate financial management experience in assisting the Boyle County Acting Treasurer by conducting over-the-shoulder quality reviews and consultations of the processes and procedures used to manage our county government finances. Mr. Devrick's actions reflect great credit upon himself and aided immensely in the uninterrupted continuance of government. This award is presented as a result of a unanimous vote of appreciation by the Boyle County Fiscal Court in the 179th year of Boyle County being historically bold on the 23rd day of November 2021.
June, come up around.
June, come on, get the pictures up right here and get out from behind the podium. Let's do that.
And for posterity, one with Jackie in there.
Oh, yeah, come on, Jackie.
Come here, girl.
Pull that podium all around.
June, you stay in there.
Would you like to say a few words, Ron?
Well, I'll say one or two. I can't say a whole lot, but I will say one or two. I appreciate the faith that people have in me and the things that I've done over the years. I was brought in here when Deerfield Plastics was bought by Huntsman, and I worked with Missy back then, and she trusts me a little bit. But anyway, I'm losing it, so I won't take up a whole lot of your time. But I did what I could do. I want to do what I can to help Darlene and Jackie, and whatever they run into, you know, I'll try to help them dig it out. No cost to the county, okay?
I think that's really important. His services and his experience have been totally invaluable, but the value placed on it is the generosity of his kindness. He didn't charge anything for his services, and we appreciate that very much. The county thanks you for that also.
And it gets me out of the house.
Anytime.
Call him at any time.
Are we, will we be given any kind of like written summary of some of the things that Ron found or steps that he put in to give us an idea of?
I think he and Jackie are working on that product that is not yet completed.
Okay.
And I do know that there is still some transition stuff that you're working on software wise and conversions, I guess. And hopefully that's still active.
I mean, it's good to have at that office, you know, some actual professional guidance. And so we appreciate it very much, and we appreciate, you know, I don't think any of us realized how scared Jackie probably was when she stepped up to say she'd take on this role and figure out what had been happening over the last year and for several years. So I appreciate you being a guidance to her, and you know, it just, you know, your professionalism really, we can't thank you enough for helping us with this.
All I can say is for Jackie and Darlene, please be gentle with them, because they're looking into the abyss, so to speak.
Yeah.
So they're having to dig for everything that they find.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
So be gentle with them.
Which is a shame.
Yes. Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Yeah.
Travel mercies to you. They're headed to West Virginia, folks.
Yes. Bye.
Safe travels.
Bye, baby.
All right, next on my list is an update on the visit that I accompanied the city of Danville and some other folks to, and some EDP folks to Western Kentucky. We visited Madisonville and Henderson and looked at their economic development structures. We found a lot of similarities, but we found some differences. And right now, Alan Turbyfield and Earl Coffey are putting together a comprehensive, short summation of our visits and the things we found. We do a lot of things similar, and they have different names, like Economic Development Corporation, Industrial Fund Agency, and what I really appreciate is in getting to see and talk to those folks in those two distinctive communities was, it helped give us a little bit of a solidified attitude or opinion on how we can best move forward and take elements of our existing structures here in the county and work toward blending them, because one, I won't mention the community because it wouldn't serve any purpose. One community had a board of 25 people, but their core of 6 or 7 was the real decision-making aspect of it. And I will say this, consistently across the 2 communities that we visited, one theme that stuck out more than anything else. When we're looking to move forward with a personnel to lead our economic development on a day-to-day basis, they highly recommend, both communities, somebody that is passionate about the community, comes from the community, lives in the community, is invested in the community, and is the biggest cheerleader for economic development in the county and the city. And one community had a nice young lady that was probably, I would say, a 10-year, 15-year experienced residential real estate agent that took the reign. But she was smart enough to realize when she needed help to ask for help. And the community and the county and the city came together, and they worked out a deal that is worth the construction cost is worth $500 billion, the development cost. They both, county and city, put money into it, and pretty good money, in a county that's larger than ours. Put pretty substantial money into it, but their annual paybacks are going to be in the multiple millions of dollars a year in returned reinvestment in that county. And I don't want to get into specifics, not mention any names. There is a short summation report which will be coming to us shortly. We expect it by around sometime later this morning, that Alan Turbyfield and Earl will put together and collaborate on the message that we all gleaned from it. And I will forward that out to each of you so we can start thinking about some of the things and recommendations that we learned on our trip.
Judge, to show how essential it is that we do it right, the cattle in Boyle County are among the most of any in Kentucky, and Kentucky is the cattle capital east of the Mississippi. A Western Kentucky town was this close in negotiations. It reminds me of Pittman Creek. It was this close in negotiations to getting 1,300 new employees for a meat processing plant. You'll recall 6 months or so ago I brought to us the fact that our Attorney General is intervening with 21 other states' attorneys general for what I will call, they're reluctant to use it, apparent price fixing, where they're getting about $1.75 a pound right now, and by the time you see it on the shelf, and by the time the farmer, well, he's gotten $1.75 a pound on the hoof. And by the time we're paying for it, it's $8, $9, $10, $15, $18 for what was a third of that just 2 years ago. Because the community wasn't well developed in terms of communication, they lost that opportunity when they were on the cusp of getting it, and it went to St. Louis. So 1,300 employees for a meatpacking plant that was multi-million dollars. And you were very close to that community when you were down there.
Well, there's a lot of fate involved in who goes where and when and why.
Yeah.
And all we need to do is have the big catcher's mitt and be standing by to take whatever is thrown at us and respond
And do it right.
and do it right.
Thank you.
Thank you for that, Tom. We have a committee that, on this court that helps with ARPA, and that is Jason and John. Would you guys like to talk a little bit about the visit we had from the Parksville Water District Board and a recommendation moving forward on our first project on the ARPA considerations? Anybody?
Go ahead.
Beauty before age.
I don't know what mirror you're looking in, but anyway. Well, we had a very good meeting, and we met with their board. They were kind enough to come up and spend some time with us, along with, well, first name was Chris, don't remember his second name.
Engineer.
But he's an engineer, and he really works the planning, and his company covers 4 or 5 states, and he knows, this thing about water is really complicated in my mind. But anyway, he has led them, been leading them down and advising them, and we understand a whole lot better than what we did going in with the first meeting with them. So they answered all of our questions. They have a very rough situation down there that needs help. And in order to keep from this happening again, which I think will go a long way in solving the issues that they have, I think those of us that were involved feel comfortable in moving forward with the recommendation of the court on the expenditure of these dollars. So, and it's sizable. It is sizable, and that's what scared me and probably Jason. But it's going to make quite an impact in that end of the county. They have 1,600 families plus customers that will be affected in a positive way with this country, with this aid. So, Jason, you jump in.
Yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly. John and I, we first met, had a lot of questions about this, and you know, the board was very accommodating to come meet with us and talk with us, take time out of their schedule. The one thing I learned is how passionate they are about serving on that board and serving that community. You know, this is a non-paid position, managing a very, you know, 1,500 doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a large area, basically from Perryville down. And so they could very easily have turned these reins over to someone else, but you know, they care about their community and making sure that they want to keep rates as low as possible. And so, you know, wholeheartedly, I think that we just need to move on and let them start making the repairs that need to be made.
You're telling us that they've got a lot of problems, but you haven't said what the problems really are. Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
I can if you'd like.
Well, they're not the only ones that have problems. Let's be honest, because there's 3. We're sending money to 2 other areas as well, but this one just kind of jumped out at us at first, and they have 3 standpipes that really need to be reconditioned. They were under the impression that they would last about 40 years, and they're only about 22 in, and we all know what water does. Water gets where it wants to go and starts breaking down on things. And so technology from, you know, 22 years ago to now, you know a lot. So they're going to be making a lot of improvements. And this gentleman, Chris, from the architectural or the engineering firm, has really kind of setting them up to make improvements that should last for a very long time. You know, they have about, I think it's 9 different pipes that have started to show. They were built under the creek grounds, and now they're starting to come up, and it's starting to block
the streams.
trees are hitting them, and so it's a delicate situation. So they're looking at actually kind of coming in, going underneath the bed, cementing it, and making it pretty much not a problem, hopefully for a very long time. I mean, the creeks will continue to erode and things will continue to happen, but I think they're taking steps to learn from the previous and put forward some of these efforts. So, you know, these things are glass lined. They've got screws that are kind of corroding and stuff like that. So, you know, it's an extensive fix, but you know, we're trying to be good stewards with this once in a lifetime amount of money that we're getting, and I think this is well worth it, especially when we start looking at, you know, there's 1,500 customers out there right now, but you know, we've talked about there's some expansion happening out there, so there's going to be some more people tying onto those water lines.
I'm just proud that you and John and the judge feel that way, because I'm with you 100%. We've got to take care of our neighbors, and if we've got the money, let's put it where it should be.
The
They
American
need
Rescue
help.
Plan Act was
Yes.
for that purpose, and
Yes.
so, yes, John.
I might add to that, that I really hadn't thought about, you can predict maintenance issues in advance. But what no one, I don't think, ever thought about was the role that nature has played in creating a lot of these issues.
Stressors on the
Yeah,
system.
it just, the nature that you can't control has had a huge effect in this area, and it's in an area that nature would cause when you think
Right,
about
right.
where it is and everything. And I realized that out of our meetings, that really nature played a larger part than I would have ever thought.
Yeah.
In their planning, they predict maintenance, but it's hard to predict what nature's going to create for you and
Right.
the situation it's going to create for you.
Yeah.
So
Judge.
that's part of the issue.
May I comment as well? And the fiduciary responsibility mentioned by both Magistrate Caywood and Magistrate Cullen is something we all take very seriously. And I'm just going to say I'm very gratified. I think the majority of those families will be in my district, but I know some are in Magistrate Short, and the water main is on your side of Caldwell. So we're all three of us our constituents are affected by this, and these are essential changes, and this is one very good use of that ARPA money. So
Well,
far
there'll
beyond
be-
just Parksville, there are a lot
Yeah.
of folks out there that are going to be positively affected.
So I heard you say substantial dollars, or you're shocked by the numbers. What are the numbers?
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll just do Parksville. There are 8 creek crossing replacements. There's 8 of them. And that's gonna be about $560,000. There is a small water line on Parksville Cross Pike that we're gonna replace. That's $235,000. The water tank rehabilitation is $450,000. So it's gonna be roughly $1.245 million. And they're giving them a commitment for that piece will help them with their planning on the multiple pages of other projects that they have to do.
What's the completion time?
Well, it depends on the bid specs
Yes.
that they have to satisfy by the federal treasury specifications, and that lead time. The reason I want to go ahead and get this moving now is so that clock can start on their required time to do the bid specifications and advertising for, services.
And there's,
Do we need a motion?
Yes, sir.
I'll make that
Before you
motion.
do that, this is not including junction.
No.
See, we're in the same boat that Parable, that Parksville,
That
Parable's in.
there are other projects
Yeah.
that have been discussed that will address both of those communities that I want the committee to do their,
Cause these water lines goes
due
across
diligence
these creeks, every time you have a big rain, they wash them out. One right down below my house gets washed out all the time,
Mhm.
and,
well, that goes back to
but it
John's.
goes through all back on his side, my side, back all through there.
That goes back to John's point that, we can predict certain things, but
But nature-
you never know how many floods we're gonna get, you never know how many huge ice storms or whatever we're gonna get, so, and Tom, to kinda answer your question, there's multiple projects for this. So they're looking at the ones that need to be done first, and I think they're prioritizing them that way.
Right.
But this is only, I guess to say, half of what they actually need.
I understand.
They have more work to do
They have
in
more
addition
work
to
to
this.
do that they're
I've talked
going to
to
have.
Debbie.
So is this in line with, that meeting we had that one
Yes, sir,
time?
down
This-
at City Hall.
City Hall, is
It's-
this directly in line with what we did there?
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Yep. So we have 3 other projects along with this that we're utilizing
Yep.
ARPA funds for as well.
So I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Magistrate Gay to move forward on the Parksville Water District ARPA fund project, and it was seconded by Magistrate Ellis
With the prices
with the,
indicated.
with the prices indicated by our deputy judge, which was 1.245 million, and
Is that all we're gonna address right now, just that one?
just
area?
that one right now. Yes, sir.
I have one more comment.
Let's wait till after since the motion and the second's been made.
We gotta vote.
Now-
We need to have discussion, which we've already had, but go ahead.
This might ease your thoughts on it, Ronnie, because I'm aware of one circumstance where an individual has gone across a creek and heavily capped with concrete, and I heard concrete capping is one of the concepts.
It'll be under
Yeah.
the riverbed.
This has sustained that through some pretty harsh floods and freezes as well. So
Yep.
if it can work for one individual line like that across the creek, I'm pretty confident that this engineer's given us something that's gonna last for a long, long
Well,
time.
if they go deep enough, that will eliminate that.
Then that's the point.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the plan, I should say.
Yeah.
It will get, but a lot of places, they can't go that deep. But, you know.
Why, is there rocks in Kentucky?
Little limestone out there.
All
a lot of
right,
lines.
if there's no further discussion, we'll take a vote on the motion, which is to approve the Parksville Water District request for funds that has been stipulated. And all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you for that.
Thank you, guys.
I would like to, as a representative of this court, to publicly thank Martha Caywood for all her hard work, coordination, and beautiful display of the Blue Star Memorial out in front of the courthouse. Her efforts brought a community awareness to a very pertinent and important aspect of our history in Boyle County, and that's the service of our armed forces members that have served. And the Blue Star Monument out in front of this courthouse is absolutely spectacular by anybody's definition, and a very distinctive display of our relationship to the armed forces. And I want to thank Martha Caywood and the Danville Garden Club and all those associated with through the state and the National Garden Clubs for that presentation here before the court. And I would like anybody else that would like to say something, and if I just thought it was a great event all the way around.
It was a tremendous dedication.
Here to that.
We was talking about dedication a minute ago with the people in the towns that you visited. Martha Caywood has that dedication for Boyle County.
Absolutely.
I mean, and she always has with the garden club and different things. You know, just notice the different things that Martha Caywood has done for Danville especially. It's just amazing that the lady has that kind of energy and that kind of heart that she puts out, and I'm very grateful, being a veteran.
I'm very grateful for it.
Martha Caywood, thank you.
And what she has done, not only with the Blue Star Memorial out in front of the courthouse, but what she and her team from the Garden Club have done at Constitution Square has been immeasurably beneficial to the county.
Yeah.
She continues doing it.
Yeah, it was a fantastic day, and I don't know how she has the pull she does, but she pulled off great weather that day.
Yeah.
And I understand why John watches his P's and Q's now. But that's just one of the many things that the Garden Club does
Absolutely.
and has done in this community, like Magistrate Salmon said, you know, just, I took a drive back through the Bellevue Cemetery, and, you know, again, there's a plaque right there from the Garden Club. You know, they may have this, I'm sure it's out there, but I would love to kind of get some sort of brochure that just kind of shows all the different things that the Garden Club has done around this community. It's kind of, you know, there's just a lot out there, and it would be nice to kind of drive around, because everything that they do is all about beautifying this county and this city. So it would be great to kind of just have like a little tour of those things. It'd be fantastic. So
thank you, Martha.
Thank you, Martha.
I'll just say one thing. Yes, she did work hard, and she's very appreciative of y'all's respect and comments for what they did. She had a lot of help too, so the whole club chipped in and helped, but she'll appreciate y'all's comments, so thank you.
well, the biggest people that
She did come from Tennessee. I need to throw that out. I trained her to love Kentucky.
the volunteer state, right?
Volunteer state.
But the people that committed, I think, the most were the veterans that memorial honors. And so
Yeah, there were several there, and it was great to see them there.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, that serve, and thank you for everyone that served, so that we, you know.
And I think we ought to mention Jack, because he worked in getting the honor guard here, and he had a lot of input
Yes, he did.
in this effort. And there were some donations from kind people that helped make the ceremony what it was.
Yeah, great ceremony.
Great ceremony, thank you.
And thank
For
you.
everybody involved.
Thank you, and thank you, Jason, for always honoring the veterans. I appreciate your,
I do too, and Jamie in this court does that.
yes.
Couldn't be here doing this if you all hadn't put your lives on the line to keep us free. In general, I have to say, your talk that day was really powerful, and it really hit home, and you know, it's one thing to serve with you on this court, but to see how much you care about your fellow veterans, it really means a lot to me. So thank you.
We appreciate that. Kind words, thank you. Thank you very much. Means a lot to me. Next on the list is Narcan training to the staff. We had a brief from what's Amy's Amy Annis, who did an excellent job in training us on how to apply Narcan should we come across a situation that requires it. And we are going to through her organization put these in the hands of every county employee to keep close to them should they be required to use it. And just so the court knows, you get the issues of 2 Narcan applications, and the court is protected by the state's Good Samaritan law when we try to render this. Now, the training is not extensive or complicated or anything like that, and there are no side effects to the application of the Narcan. The one thing that all of our employees will know, that once it's administered, be prepared for immediate change of environment, because some awaken to a real deep regret on taking away their high, and so they could become combative instantly. Not 100% of the time, but they could be.
The Narcan, I'm not really familiar with it, so I'm gonna ask a dumb question. Can it be used the same can 2 or 3 times, or
No.
one
No,
application?
One application.
One application.
Judge, I was fortunate to sit down with Ms. Annis before it started, and I had a question based on something that I have to take if I had a bee sting. And it can be used after the expiration date. Again, with
That's
the
true.
Good Samaritan law protecting you. It's better, she talked about the fact that they haven't been saying that in their program. I know many of us went through it about 2 years ago. Mine is upstairs, it's expired, but I haven't gotten rid of it, just so that I could ask that question when I had the opportunity. And she said, better to try it than
To not use it at all.
consequence.
There you go.
It won't hurt. Won't hurt.
Bus drivers
It could
gotta
help.
do it every year. You
Yeah.
gotta do it every year.
Do you?
Yeah, and not just Narcan, but any, the other stuff that's out there too, we do three different.
So I'm gonna ask her to supply this court with 2 applications each that you can have in your glove box of your car or whatever, should you encounter anybody in your travels anywhere that need this, and it would be great to have as a resource.
And it's my understanding that this is through a UK grant.
It
This
is.
very, very expensive, but this is not going to hit directly onto our taxpayers here in
It
Boyle
does
County.
not. It does not.
But the kids in schools, they provide all this.
Do what?
The kids on this, you know, if you got a kid that needs Narcan or whatever, they keep it in their backpacks.
My goodness.
Oh, they do?
But the bus does not, no, we do not carry it,
You don't?
no. It's all provided by the families.
Okay.
Interesting.
Okay. I just thought I'd mention that. It was some great training. And next, we have Miss Rebecca Kernodle with us, and she's on our ethics committee. And now, would you like to say something before I make a motion or entertain a motion for a reappointment? Okay.
So moved, Judge.
I would like.
It's been an honor, and so
I deeply appreciate Rebecca's participation on our ethics committee. She has done a great job and has been there. We appointed her almost 2 years ago now, and I would like to reappoint her to a 3-year term to represent Boyle County and the Perryville area district area on the ethics committee. She's been a great resource for all of us.
I second Tom's motion.
Tom made the motion to reappoint, and Magistrate Elstead and Magistrate Salmon seconded the motion. Is there any comments or discussions?
I'd just like to say that just the other day, Rebecca and I talked, and she showed great wisdom in an issue that I was inquiring about, and I thank you. And then I want to ask, how's your father, and is he going to be at Thanksgiving?
he is. He's doing much better. He's home and recovering slowly, but he is recovering.
Tell him we
So
asked.
I will. Thank
Yeah,
you.
please do.
I will.
Please do. I called and checked on Bruce while he was in the hospital, and he had his cell phone. He picked it up and said, "They say I'm going to live. I'm going to get out of here." So I said, "That's great. Best news I've had all day." But anyway,
Well, thank you, Rebecca.
thank you so much for all that you do for this county in representation on that committee. Any other discussions or comments? All those in favor of the reappointment, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously, Rebecca, and thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry you had to wait so long.
That's
Yeah.
okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right. Stephanie Blevins is up with Heart of Kentucky United Way. Hope she's here.
Yeah, she's here early.
Hi, Miss Stephanie. Welcome.
Good morning.
Got some
Thank you.
information so that I don't have to take much of your time. I'm going to just hand it out to you.
Thank you, thank you.
It's been over a year since I've been to the fiscal court to kind of give you all an update of what United Way has been doing. So I thought it'd be good just to come in and share just a couple of things real briefly. So what you may or may not know is during COVID, United Way was extremely active. So we, just a brief thing of what we've done, we gave away 400 senior care kits in our 4 counties. We distributed personal protection PPE equipment for Boyle County in conjunction with the health department. We delivered 320 gallons of sanitizer. That was a lot of trips. And we continued to do the scheduling for the health departments in Boyle and Mercer County for the shots, the vaccinations, as well as the boosters. So that's what United Way is working on as far as COVID is concerned. We gave away over 269 masks. We worked with North Point. They actually sewed the masks, and then we distributed them. And then we did a drive and drop for just basic toiletries and supplies for our seniors. In 2020 and 21, we are going to continue to fund about 44 different programs in our 4 counties, and we serve Boyle, Lincoln, Mercer, and Garrett. So this year, over $450,000 dollars will be going into those programs. So we are committed to that. As you can imagine, donations have not gone up. We are still kind of struggling to kind of keep pace with what we have pledged to our partners. In your packet, you will see the right-hand side has a list of all of our programs that and the agencies that we fund. Right behind that, you'll see a Bridges Out of Poverty. That is a training that we do free of charge through United Way. It is 4 hours, but it goes by very quickly. And it's a wonderful, wonderful 4-hour workshop that's really interactive too, but it talks about understanding people that live in poverty, in middle class, and in wealth. So that's something I would highly encourage each of you all to attend. It just gives you a different perspective and helps you understand really where your constituents, where their mindsets, their values, their beliefs, their customs, all of that kind of comes from. So if you have not gone through that, I will encourage you to do so. It's really, really fascinating, both professionally and personally.
Stephanie, on
Yes.
hot meals to seniors,
Yes.
do you work with the senior citizens on this, or is this a separate program?
No, that is with the senior citizen centers, but Boyle Senior Citizen Center has been self-sufficient and has not requested funding. That's in Lincoln, Mercer, and Garrett counties that we have provided those.
You deliver meals in addition to the senior citizens?
No, we fund. We provide the funding for that.
You fund them?
But not in Boyle County. They have not requested nor suggested that they needed the funding, so they have not even applied for funding. But in Lincoln, Mercer, and Garrett, we do fund part of that. Now, I should back up. We have funded some meals in Boyle County as well, and it was during COVID, and actually just one, a family a couple of weeks ago, but through 2020, we probably did, oh my goodness, in excess of 100 plus different households. It was one thing that people, when COVID hit, that we kind of forgot about, because we live in middle class. If we were quarantined to our house, usually we had a source of income that we could continue to pay for groceries. Usually we had family members, or we could DoorDash, or we could, figure out a way to get food to our house. But if you're living in poverty, finding a way to get groceries or to pay for groceries became a huge obstacle. And so in conjunction, the health departments would call United Way and say, we've got a family that, one of them was a single man, one of them was a woman with 3 children, quarantined. They had no family, no way to get out, and of course they couldn't afford to do. So United Way actually took their grocery list, shopped, and delivered it to their door. So we did provide meals in that perspective.
Is there, and I guess really you're not the one to answer this question, but is there a reason why the senior center is not requesting funding from the United Way?
It's my understanding that the money that they got through the CARES grant, and that was adequately funding their need.
They don't
That would be a one-time.
Yeah, but they generally
Right.
don't ask for funding?
The
from
last
United Way?
time that the Boyle County senior citizens requested funding was, and we're going to test my memory, I think it was 2017, 18. Now, we've done some special projects with them, but on your sheet that you have, one side is blue, and then there's a little red strip beside that. The blue strip, if you're not familiar with United Way, we actually utilize about 70 plus volunteers to make the decisions on where our funding goes. So we fundraise all year, then we have panels that meet. To apply for funding through United Way, you must fill out an agency application, a program application, and do a presentation. So all those agencies that you're looking at that are in the blue went through that process. And it's actually pretty arduous and pretty extensive. They're required to do mid-year outcomes, year-end outcomes. If anybody would like to sit in on that, that would be wonderful from this fiscal court, so that you all could kind of bring back the information, because it's a wealth of resources as well. Then once that funding is done, that is for the upcoming year. So our volunteers from all 4 of our communities, they make the decision on where that funding goes. The red side are project grants that can happen throughout the year, and it's for $2,500 or less. There is a committee, and then it goes through another series of processes after that. But those are those that receive things just come up during the year that we don't expect or anticipate, and that's what that funding.
How many counties do you actually?
4.
4 counties?
Boyle, Lincoln, Mercer, and Garrett County.
Now, each one of these counties, do they have a person similar to you that you contact to see what help they need, or how do you actually?
No, that's my job.
How do you actually know what's going on and how to help them, and what assistance do you really get from these counties?
What assistance do?
I'm talking about volunteer. Do they
Oh,
volunteer?
volunteers?
Do you have paid people over there, or what do you
No,
have?
we actually, United Way used to be a staff of 5 when I started. We are down to a staff of 2 because of funding. We're asking our partners to do more with less because the donations that are coming in have been reduced significantly, especially starting in 2020 when COVID hit.
Right.
And so there are 2 employees for United Way, myself and Carly Graves, who will be leaving me at the end of this month, so to go work for her dad, so it's okay. But we're happy for her. That's what I'm supposed to say anyway. I'm not really. So don't put that on record. But so it'll continue to be a staff of 2. We stay very active in all 4 counties. I'm a Mercer County Rotarian. I attend Lincoln County Rotary. I even attend Danville's Rotary. We are in touch with all the Friskies in each of the schools. I stay in contact with Chamber of Commerce's. It's just being active is how we know.
So they have the volunteers that you actually work with, like the Rotary Club in different counties
Yes.
and what have you.
And that's how
they
we
have
locate all
volunteers. So
And-
my
right.
point is, I assume then that you and your assistant are the only 2 paid
Correct.
people in the United Way. Is that correct?
That is correct. Everyone else is volunteers, including our board.
Yeah, I would just say if you haven't, you ought to take a chance to take Stephanie up on her offer to really sit in and see how United Way works. It really is an extensive outcome-based system that I know has been developed over years,
Yes.
and it's a great system. So it's not just here's your money, good luck.
Right.
They're actually making sure that that money is utilized in an appropriate way and that they're getting the outcomes that they say they are supposed to be getting. So it's a great system that works very well for our communities. And so I would encourage everyone also, if you're not supporting the United Way, please do so.
Thank you, Jamie. That is true. In fact, our United Way is a little unique in the fact that our board does not make the decision on who receives that funding and how much, that we utilize this panel of volunteers from all 4 communities so that we get different perspectives. Now, it goes through a series of 4 different committees before it even gets to the board for final approval, but the volunteers really make the decisions on where the funding goes.
Do these other counties step up pretty well as far as financial aid?
They do. Boyle and Mercer are our 2 largest donors, obviously. Garrett is probably the lowest as far as contributing just because of the lack of businesses and industry that they have in their community.
Right.
And a lot of our funding goes to the Boyle and Mercer because a lot of times we're housed, like Salvation Army, which is here, serves all 4 counties. Bluegrass Community Action is in all 4 of our counties, but a lot of times the home base, like for Greenhouse 17, that works with those domestic violence, they have someone that's in our court systems, which is largely here in Mercer County and in Boyle County.
Okay. Thank you.
So,
Stephanie, thank you for all the work you all
Sure.
do. Last meeting, we talked about the homeless problem in our county and of course surrounding counties. Is there anything that the United Way is doing to help with that, or is there funding available that can assist some of these groups that are starting to try to branch out to help with the homelessness?
Funny you mention that because when you look through that pamphlet, you don't see actual homelessness on one of our priorities, our strategies. And our Community Impact Development Committee that met in October we have literally just added that to our list because that was the one area that we felt was really lacking and that we're seeing it's even become more of an issue in Mercer County than it is Boyle, but it's going to impact all these areas, even more so than now. So we are adding that as one of our strategies. The funding that will go with that, all this will be determined upon the amount of money that we raise because we have a terrible business model. We pledge this money to our partners and then we try to go raise it. So assuming that we can raise the funds, anything that we can raise would be used for that. 98% of our funding that we raised here in our 4 communities stays in our counties. In other words, 2% goes to United Way worldwide, and that 2% is to help with both national and international efforts. So when the tsunami hit, literally 2 cents of every dollar that we had went to help those victims. Anything that we have locally nationally as well. So 98% of our money stays right here, which is wonderful.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I know John and I kind of talked about this before, but that's something we really just need to. I was out this morning, there was a call in Ronnie's area off of White Oak for the fire department, and so I was up and was like, okay, let me go check it out, and it was 22 degrees this morning. And as I rode past Walmart, I couldn't help but think about what Roger said with the people that are in an encampment out there, and it's 22 degrees, and it was really cold. So this is, when I had the restaurants, there was a good amount of people that would come through that we would give coffee to or whatever that we could. But I know that that's grown a lot.
They recently just had an infant that was born in Mercer County in one of the encampments that they had to rescue. It's a growing issue. In fact, I have a meeting with Tim Kitts from the Housing Authority
Yes.
coming up as well, so we will definitely be addressing that.
I likewise have a meeting with him next week, yeah.
What's the estimated homeless, have any idea, anybody have any idea? what-
They do not have a good count. I've been to some coalitions in Mercer County. They are seeing, and they have a few more systems in Mercer County set up to really address homelessness. So I think that they're seeing more homelessness in Mercer County because they have a few more resources for those. But nobody has a count, and it fluctuates.
I think Roger mentioned a number over 50.
Oh, well over
Which,
50.
which,
Oh, that-
which was
Well
a stunner
over
to me.
Yeah.
Well over 50. And that's those that truly can't even couch surf. So when you're defining homelessness, is it homelessness that you literally don't have someplace to get in at night? Or is it that you don't have a house and your family is now living in 3 or 4 different houses and kind of couch surfing? And I mean, the Danville schools, there's probably more than 50, I know there's more than 50 kids that are couch surfing that really are technically homeless. So,
Well, between that and I'm actually floored that our senior center is not looking for requesting funding from the United Way right now.
well, we've done some projects with them, but they don't go through that blue process where it's those over $2,500.
Yeah.
Right.
That, my statement still holds.
Okay.
I'm floored that.
Yeah, it's volunteer versus taxpayer dollars.
Correct, which is kind of something that we've talked about, self fundraising, trying to raise funds instead of coming after taxpayer dollars. It's very upsetting right now because we contribute a good amount to the senior center, which we need to do if they need the help. But if there's other resources out here like the United Way or other organizations, that's where they should be going first.
And I don't know if this will change your opinion of that or how it'll make you feel. For Mercer County and Garrett County both received $5,000 from United Way for funding. Lincoln County, Lincoln County, I think, received $14,000 because of some different programming they were doing.
Right.
So we're not into the days where the United Way is looking at a program and donating $150,000.
No.
Because we don't seriously.
But
just honestly don't have that.
$5,000, we had a lot of people requesting, $2,000-$3,000 that we cut stuff down on. I mean, Phil's organization was requesting stuff that we cut down on because we were trying to give to certain specific, really trying to rein that in. At least my opinion is that we should rein it in. And, $5,000 is $5,000.
And you're right, that is still a lot of money.
$2,000. I don't care, but if there's opportunity. So if there's 2,000 from you, there's 2,000 from others, or there's 4,000 from others. And so this is kind of where John's talked about in the past that we need to make sure, and I fully agree with, that we need to make sure, these groups are utilizing the resources that are out there outside of the fiscal
Well,
court.
the organization that you refer to, that I'm Man Helping Hands, and I'm sure Ms. Blevins is familiar, very
Yes.
familiar, because she works with Bruce, our chairman, and she can tell you that it is a pretty good organization. We help a lot of homeless people, and it's mind-boggling, the number that's out there.
It's sad.
We are extremely transparent, so all of the funding that we give into the community, put back into the community, we have a list of that. In fact, right now, if you walk down the street in front of our windows, you can see not actual checks, but there's copies of the checks that we've donated. If you don't like us on Facebook, Heart of Kentucky United Way, please do so because we post them there as well. So if you ever want a list of who we funded and what amounts and all of that, we are very transparent.
Thank you.
I might add to your question, Jason. Family Services gets a large, significant grant from Bluegrass Ad District, which really gives, and that is significant numbers if I remember right, Judge. That helps them, so I don't know what their needs are, but they get a lot of that money from Bluegrass Ad. I would like to add that Stephanie makes my day because she comes to work early in the morning, knocks on my window and waves at me most mornings. So I really appreciate that. Last night, there was an interesting question that you got when you spoke at the city and did a very nice job with. That was on phone numbers.
Yes.
You might bring that up because I'd heard that a long time ago, but I'd forgotten it until you brought it up last night.
Yes, so in your package, you should have a little magnet that says 211. So United Way has a resource database just like instead of dialing 911 or 411, you dial 211, and that can be for any need whatsoever, from all the way from mental illness, mental health recovery, utility assistance, whatever the need is. If they just dial 211, an automated thing comes on and asks them what county they live in, and then a person comes online and says, okay, what are your needs? Here's the list of things that we have, places you can call and contact. I will say that by the end of the month, a lot of our resources have depleted their funds because obviously they budget it monthly. And so we have churches that we contact after that. But Boyle County is very fortunate in the fact that we have a number of resources and a number of truly giving people in our community. So we are very blessed, very blessed.
So they would hook up, and it's terrible to have to bring this up, but veterans and others, suicide.
Absolutely.
They would push that through to the right people.
They would. And so suicide prevention in mental health awareness and assistance, I've just pulled a group together that is focusing on that. And this was before the young lady in Perryville committed suicide. So this is something that was on our minds way before then because of the increasing numbers of suicide in our communities. But we have a task force, including Chloe's Hope, which is a family in Mercer County who lost their daughter to suicide in 20 after she graduated college and was flourishing. So mental health and recovery is a hugely important issue in our community.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for all you do, and appreciate
Absolutely.
your update today. And,
Absolutely.
and you're a blessing to our county and our community, so thank you so much.
And let me encourage you to sign up for that Bridges Out of Poverty. You will not regret it. You will not regret it.
And we're honored also to have your husband and the job he does.
Yeah.
I think so too.
He's all right in our books.
Yeah, he's all right in my book.
Tell him we said that, will
I
you?
will. I sure will. I will. If you all ever have any questions, I'm happy to come back. I don't want to take a lot of your time, obviously, every month, but any time that you would like for me to come back and share any information, any news, I'd be happy to.
Well, we appreciate the job you do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thanks.
Come on in there, Director Rogers.
Morning.
Good morning.
There.
Thank you, Judge, and thank you, members of the court. First thing we have on the agenda today is consideration of approval for a rental agreement with KSD, and we don't actually. They let us use the building for free. We've been using it for training, to move patients up and down, for triage types of things, move patients in and out of rooms, those types of things. It's great. We use the old buildings, so it's like they're really, in bad shape and they're dirty. So it makes it perfect for us, so we don't have to worry about going in there and tearing anything up or anything like that.
Which ones do you use?
It's I don't know the names of them honestly, but I know
Right on Second Street.
Yeah. But they're empty. There's nobody in there, so we just use those as training. There's no cost to it. It's just an agreement that.
That's the next question I have.
Well, yeah, because this is the contract here, but page 3 has the zero, so
Right.
that was gonna be my question.
Well, I'll make that motion. We go ahead and approve the
Second.
contract.
Motion made by Magistrate Cullen and seconded by Magistrate Ellis that we approve the rental contract as stipulated in discussion with KSD to utilize their facilities for training. And any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously.
And I'd like to thank KSD too. We appreciate their support. Is that active shooter training remains very important for EMS. So it's something we always keep training on. So the next thing on the agenda is to consider the medic bag purchase. It's something that it's a budgeted item. It's something we've been working on for a long time. I have Mo here with me. He's one of our newer paramedics. We hired him back in May, and he's been here a short time, but he's made a really big impact. I have really high hopes for Mo. He makes me excited to invest in our employees. But he's going to present the medic bag purchase to you.
Okay. Welcome, Mo.
Welcome. I'd like to thank the Fiscal Court and Director Rogers for letting me speak about the consideration of this purchase. So, like Director Rogers was saying, this is a budgeted item. We originally were thinking about just replacing the bags that we currently have. The ones that we have are about 4 or 5 years into their service life. They're nearing the end of their service life. A lot of them have rips, broken zippers, things like that. They're out of warranty. So it's been a little difficult trying to keep them up to date. After talking to the crews and everybody else, we decided to look at a different system based off of a couple different things. We wanted bags that were really tough and durable, and StatPack is the industry leader for that kind of thing. They have a very good warranty for their bags. They really try to back up their product, and we think it's something they'll be able to use for a long period of time. The material that the bags use as well is made out of this tough plastic coating, and you can use it to wipe away COVID, with disinfectants and things like that. So it makes cleaning a little bit easier as well, especially with the pandemic. We also wanted to make everything as standardized as possible, so that way if a crew goes onto a backup truck, they'll be able to immediately know, hey, this is where this is at. It'll make it easier to take care of patients a little bit more effectively. Make patient
Bag,
care.
explain to me what's in the bag.
Yeah, absolutely. So the system that we're wanting to go with will consist of 3 bags. So you'd have the main bag. That'd be used for day-to-day activities like taking blood pressures, vital signs, checking blood sugars, things like that.
That has that equipment in it.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And then it also is used for critical patient interactions as well. So it'll have medications for critical patients, IV supplies, airway supplies. Along with that, there'll be an airway bag, which will have an oxygen tank in it. It's something you can carry on your back and take into a home. If someone's unable to ambulate by themselves, we can take it in there and start treating them while we work on getting them moved out of wherever they're at.
The bag has all this in it.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So we decided to do a trial, and that was about a month. We let all the crews take a look at it. Along with that, we did a little bit of training on it just to kind of get everyone comfortable with it, and then we put it to a vote. The vast majority of the folks at EMS are wanting to switch over to this system. So we decided to go get a couple of quotes from our vendors. We had 3 major vendors that we reached out to. The MSRP for this system was $6,301.90. The lowest quote that we were able to get was $4,912.02.
For the same thing.
Yeah, for the same system, it'll be uniform across all the trucks.
Same quality?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you consider that the lowest and best quote then?
Yes, sir.
What
Yeah.
is the difference in price?
Yeah, it's unfortunately with COVID and everything, we've been seeing a lot of fluctuation with the prices for medical equipment. You'll see things like, just to give you an extreme example, face masks went from going about $10 for a box of 50, or excuse me, it was more like $2 or $3, and then it would go to $10. Or, gloves went from $50 for 1,000 to $250 now.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, so unfortunately we've been.
Is this one bag you're buying for this money, or how many?
No, it's for each truck it's 3 bags, so it's the bags have different applications for them. So you're taking.
We have 6 trucks.
6.
3 bags
Yes.
on each truck.
3 bags,
So-
and this is the total for all of them.
The total is 4,000 something for all the bags you need.
For all the bags.
What
we
was the
use.
cost on the other bags you used?
Years ago,
What you been using? I mean, don't you
Yeah.
have a yearly cost on that?
no, I don't. I mean, they're expensive. I mean, I think last time we only bought 3, so this time we're going to do the whole entire. Have a complete systemized.
I like that because when you trade, ambulances or, you need to know expediency of time and being able to know what's where and what's in there and you go.
So
You
every
don't have
bag
to-
has the same equipment, is that
Yes.
correct?
Yep.
That's
I'll
a
make
good
a
idea.
motion, we
Second.
approve the low bid or low quote from Boundtree Medical, the amount of $4,912.
I second that.
He beat you on that,
Got
Mr.
it.
Oh, you
Chairman.
second
Yeah.
that.
Motion made by
Sir.
Magistrate to accept the lowest and best bid on the bags for EMS, and it was seconded by Magistrate Cullen. Is there any discussion on the bids or any questions?
Yes, one question, sir.
Okay?
I recommend when you get a motion from that side, get a second from this side. Go ahead, no questions.
All right.
I suggest you give him a little espresso in that coffee over there and make him a little quicker.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries. Congratulations, because that's that's needed and approved.
I appreciate the job that you guys did on getting 3 different quotes.
Yeah.
Instead
Yeah.
of just coming in here and saying, we need this, and it's one quote. So that gives us an idea on what,
Yes.
if you say they're the same quality and so on.
I think that goes back to the leadership of EMS, Director
I
Rogers.
like,
is
I
always-
like the trial, I like the examination before you decide. I'm sure you looked at other options, and this was a collaborative effort in agreement to come through with something everybody likes.
Yeah, I'm glad that the whole staff wanted the same thing.
As I started to say, this goes back to Director Rogers and his leadership.
It does.
He always,
I agree.
He always, every time we have a meeting with him, he always thinks about the county.
About his staff and his people.
His staff, but also the county taxpayers as well.
Yes, he does.
That's why he's drawing that nice salary.
Well, people like Mo make me look good. Honestly, all of our employees, we couldn't do it without them. I mean, every single one of them. So,
leadership, sir.
the next
Great.
next thing on the agenda item is to consider a full-time hire for Ryan Yarborough. He comes to us from he's an EMT from Georgetown, Scott County. We'd like to make that effective today at $16 an hour.
I'll make that motion.
That's with all the background checks and
Yes, sir.
everything in
Yes,
place.
sir.
and-
Drug test and what have you.
Yes, sir.
So he's moved here from Scott?
No, he lives in Lexington, but he works currently at Georgetown, Scott County.
So I believe we had a motion made by Magistrate Cullen and second, is that right?
Yep.
And seconded by Magistrate Short. And, is there any discussion on the recommendation of the new hire and at the salary stipulated and the time being immediately?
Only thing I have to add is the fact that normally you bring the person to
Yes,
us
sir.
to introduce.
And I apologize, and I'll take full responsibility for that. We're just going through a time to where it's very competitive, and as soon as we try to get them, interview them, and hire them as soon as we can before somebody else gets them. So
I would like for you to bring the
Yeah.
gentleman in to meet the court.
yeah, for sure. I
My
will.
only objection to that, if we're gonna be a closed court, I don't want us stuff in the room with a bunch of people all the time, especially if it's our EMS people that we need to keep healthy, so I don't wanna traipsing in and out of the courthouse, and potentially getting sick, and then, or us getting sick. If we're gonna keep this courtroom closed through the rest of the year, I would say keep as the lowest amount of people in here as possible, so.
We're talking about one extra person coming, which we've always done this, to introduce the employee.
I know, but if we're gonna close
I
court-
would like to meet him, and then we
yeah.
can go out there and meet him in his place of work, but this is one time that,
Yeah.
next time, and so we're not increasing the op tempo with additional people, we'll just have 2 in here next time.
Well, right here, if we're gonna go through this whole thing, it would be those 2 plus an additional 3 here. So that's 5 people we're bringing in, so, just saying. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
I'm missing
What-
something, I might be looking
No.
at the wrong thing.
He's got 2 more to come.
He's got 2 more coming at us.
Part-time.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Well, you
But
bring
I'll
them.
be happy to bring them next time for sure. I apologize.
We just like to know who we're hiring.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. That makes sense. We literally finalized this. I mean, I talked to Missy yesterday afternoon at like 2:00. So, we do this kind of based
Okay.
on
All
the
right.
upcoming open shifts and things like that.
These other 2 guys.
The next 2 is
EMTs.
consider Jonah Straw and Elijah Cochran for part-time. They're both EMTs at $12 an hour, effective immediately.
Make a motion.
Second. All right, motion made by Magistrate Short, and seconded by Magistrate Caywood, both on the same side, I might add.
Balance.
These, can we ask questions?
Yes, please.
Okay. I know that we've talked about having some issues with part-timers and commitments to the EMS. Is there something in place now where we're making sure that they're going to actually fulfill what we're hiring them for? Or?
Yeah, I mean, it's a circle. I'm just going to be. I mean, I'll tell you,
Understand.
we'll hire them, and they'll work for a while, and then they'll probably get jobs full time somewhere else, and then we'll just kind of go back. but with the market right now, I don't have a lot of other options.
I know.
Yeah.
I just, I know
Yeah.
there's an added expense when we
Yeah.
start
It does.
uniforming them
It
and stuff
does.
like that.
Yeah.
If they're gonna only be here for a
Yeah.
little bit, we may wanna, I'd say we may wanna look into having them sign almost like a little bit of a contract, but that's kind of a issue with you with trying to get people in here right now.
Yeah.
So.
Are you, do you, the part-timers, do you check them out just like you would a full-time as far as drug testing them and so on?
And background,
Yeah.
yeah.
Background? Okay.
So how's this raise we give everybody, how's that affecting this turnover?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's good. We are in a lot better spot than a lot of other agencies. I'll tell you that. The creativeness of the 12-hour shift with the raise is we're right now, after today, we'll still be one paramedic short. That's not going to end anytime soon. The paramedic shortage is real. It's worse it's ever been. It's going to get worse. Like the article in the Herald Leader that they talked about, it's all over the state. I mean, you look, there's job postings for paramedics all the way from $20 an hour to $100.
And what do you credit this to, the shortage?
Well, it's the versatility of the paramedic and the fact that even our medical director, when it comes time to when he's working a cardiac arrest in the hospital, he almost prefers to have a paramedic there than a nurse. Not saying they don't have my wife's a nurse, I can say that. But, I have a lot of respect for nurses, but paramedics, they're able to work on their own. So it's a tough time in the ERs these days where they're so busy. And, we have paramedics or flight paramedics that are working for Baptist, that are working for E. McDowell. Over in Richmond, there's about 60 paramedics working for Bechtel that is destroying the nerve agents. So that's
how many. We have paramedics that work right in the emergency room here, don't we?
Yeah. Oh yeah, we do. Yeah, we Justin Kendrick was one of our longtime paramedics that's working in the ER, and it's just kind of his thing. So, but it's the versatility of paramedics, and then I don't know that when it went from a certificate program like we had to a collegiate program, the infrastructure wasn't there. It's still not, in my opinion, and it's just something we're gonna have to continue to work through.
I know the guy that's in charge or as the EMS service in Mercer County. I think his wife's a paramedic and works at the emergency room, doesn't she? Yeah.
Have you thought about trying to go after, and I don't know the whole certificate program or whatever, but with these ridiculous mandates where they're pushing people out of jobs, have you tried to look at any way of maybe attracting some of those people that have lost their jobs into?
No.
Or is that not really?
No, I haven't. There's just not a clear answer right now that I can. And it's not me. I'm talking to directors all over the state, and Garrett County and Madison County is struggling right now. They had a mass.
How hard is it for something like, say, a nurse to transition into an EMS program?
Well, they would, but they wouldn't. It's not hard to do. It's actually really easy, but they won't because of the pay. Paramedic pay is a lot better than it used to be, but it's not near nurse pay yet.
I understand.
So.
Okay.
Just to let go ahead, John.
Just a couple of things. Any feeling where OSHA, this thing with OSHA, going to end up? Are you all getting any information down from your structure?
No, we've not heard anything.
Okay.
In fact, the last I heard was just on the national news that it's all on hold.
Right, it's on hold now, but whether you're getting anything that makes one thing.
No. And we don't have a whole lot of people that aren't vaccinated anyway, so it wouldn't be terribly hard for us to pull the trigger when we need to. But
if you lose one person,
right.
it's hard.
It does make it hard. Yeah,
it makes it tough. We talk about it at every meeting. Yeah. Competition is where was what's making it difficult for paramedics, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, northern Kentucky and then around the Louisville area, they're paying paramedics $28, $30 an hour, and that's just what they're paying. So.
That's the market sets the rate. So, last thing is, I would suggest the court be thinking about this. He's going to come one day to us and say, I've got to add another truck because of the runs, which I suspect are continuing to increase. Is that correct?
Yeah.
He's going to need, so we're going to be facing that down the road, and so be thinking about it.
And we have a supervisor meeting very regularly, and we have all kinds of ideas that we're gonna to make sure that we always have paramedics, that we always have qualified EMTs. We're not, we're doing things to make sure that that's always a priority. So don't worry. We're in good hands. We're taking care of it. I want you to make sure you
John,
know
this
that.
might come back on you and I, but those ARPA funds aren't just for infrastructure.
That's why everyone spent needs to be considered, and
Can it be used?
there has to be a priority. There's going to have to.
Can't be used to buy an ambulance, I don't think, can it? Can it really?
Yep.
We get an interpretation from our Compass advisor and legal sufficiency on our Treasury guidelines to see if it meets the criteria.
And I would suspect that criteria and what it can be used for will be a moving target.
Well,
It has been a little bit, but it's starting to stable out to some degree also at this point in time.
other counties have been approved to buy, basically build new facilities.
That's why having the attorney protection that we have
Is important.
booked, it will be very important.
Yep.
Now, there should be some new movement off of this infrastructure bill that was passed, a week or two ago. There should be some new information coming forth out of that in the next couple of months that will be a benefit to a lot of us. But I wanted to say that, I hope, and on our visit to West Kentucky for the EDA, I spent some time, one of the people in our party was Dr. Erin Tipton, and I approached her with the concept of maybe getting together to discuss the potential for a paramedic EMT pipeline through their system. And so she took some notes, and you and I and Dr. Akapo and maybe the new director of the facility here can get together locally and discuss maybe somebody from K-Beam to see what the viability of developing that pipeline of training, which we have had in the past but don't currently have. Okay, so if we can show a potential feasibility of a student population being attracted to that training, and then then finding somebody to supply that with their nursing structure already in place out there, then we could have something to work with.
Do we have our EMTs, how many EMTs do we actually have?
We have per shift. We have 4 shifts now. So we have 4 EMTs. Four paramedics and 2 EMTs. Now we're one short.
Okay.
So
Talking about 8 or 10
Yeah.
Are those guys or ladies interested in
Yes.
becoming paramedics?
Yeah. And the one we approved one to go to paramedic school not too long ago, and his wife's situation changed to where he had to go back down to part time, so he wasn't able to execute the contract with us. But hopefully in May we're going to send 2 to paramedic school.
Well, I like the idea that the judge is talking about. Maybe we could have a last year. I don't see why not. They could set up something.
I think it's
If we
very
have that
worth
many-
exploring.
Yeah, it
If we have
is.
that many different, surely the other counties have the same problems
Absolutely.
we have.
They do.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they do.
We could have several from different counties, enough to have a class,
Yep.
No.
No. We do have a motion and a second on these part-time hires, so we kind of got off the rabbit trail a little bit. No further discussions. All those in favor of the part-time hires as stipulated in the motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, and the motion carries. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you.
Unanimous.
Y'all have a good Thanksgiving.
You
Same
too.
to you, buddy.
Thank you for all you do,
Hey,
both
Mike.
of you.
Mike,
Yes, sir.
Like to have some
While
black
we're-
hair.
while we're,
You?
talking to him about the troubles he's having with hiring people, why we need to get on these benefits and making sure that we're really helping him out, because he's lost one person, possibly more, and it's, you know, as he's trying to hire people, you know, they look at our benefits, and our benefits are just terrible.
Yeah, it's competitive for sure, and it was the last hire with Billy Crockett. His wife was able to get the insurance, and that's the only reason why he was able to come. So it definitely does affect us. That's like the second question I get. What's the, you know, how much is it going to cost me for family insurance? And then, so the other part of that you don't think about is, most of the time, more experienced paramedics, they're married and have families. So right now, we're just attracting brand new paramedics, which is okay. We're happy to do that, but we would like to be able to get the seasoned paramedics too.
Yeah.
But once they get married and start having family, we don't want to start losing them.
Yeah.
You gotta realize this happens to every industry
Yes, sir.
that go, everybody.
Yes, sir.
When you start adding family stuff in, it doubles the price of it.
Right, yes, sir.
I've been in this a long time, and that's just what it is.
Right.
But we're either gonna continue to raise the rates we're paying people, or we're gonna.
I don't think you can raise somebody enough to
I don't
offset
either.
this insurance,
I
Jason.
don't either, I agree with you.
There's no way you can.
So that's why we need to look at our
We
insurance.
need to look at that.
That's
Okay.
exactly right. I agree with Ronnie. We need to look at our benefits, not talk about increasing the pay. We need to really look at this.
We need to make sure we're competitive with
benefit
pay, but we don't want to make sure that our benefit package doesn't destroy all the work we've done to increase the pay to attract people here.
I
Like you're
agree with you.
paying this and.
But if you look, when you get better benefits, guess what? You're gonna pay more for it. That's just the way it is with health insurance.
Well,
More benefits you get with, the more you're gonna pay for it.
Yeah, no, I agree, and I just want to let everybody know that the Finance and Insurance Committee has been looking at this and is continuing to look at it, because we're not satisfied with
No, we're not
where we
satisfied.
are and what our price is, and so
That's why I don't have it with this.
working to gather information and see what other communities are doing and what
You got a call?
and what the city of Danville's benefit package is, and look at different communities'
But-
benefit package and make sure we're competitive.
when we're paying on the low end of scale, and then our benefits are on the high end, it does not help these gentlemen. And I want to make sure that everybody in this county has the best EMS, police, whatever it is that we're trying to offer out there, that we have a fiscal responsibility to, making sure that we're thinking about all of that, and helping them, because, again, you know, there's some experience out there that we would love to have to help
Yeah.
these gentlemen.
And again, it all comes back to being, again, market competitive, and in order to be market competitive, you not only have to be market competitive in pay, but you also have to be market competitive in benefits. So that is being investigated and worked on. I know the judge is concerned about that, and we're working with our broker to see what we can do. And then we may have to just make a budget decision about, you know, how much is the county willing to contribute towards the benefit package for our employees, which is obviously got to be on the table, and that's one of the options, because that goes back to what Magistrate Short is saying. You know, it's got to be paid for one way or another, and either the county funds the insurance package or the employee funds the insurance package, and those are just budget decisions, tough budget decisions that we've got to work through and make.
The family insurance is almost $1,000 a month.
It is $1,000.
It is.
Basically,
Yeah.
yes. We gotta work on that. We know that. I've asked our consultants, and we're gonna do some other things.
We just need to get a lot of bids. I mean, get 3 or 4. Put it out there.
There's so many things that drives the cost of health insurance. I mean, you wouldn't believe it.
Yes, John?
Just like to point out, we've been meeting an hour and a half, which is great, and we have probably spent an hour and a half talking about the expense side of the ledger sheet. I would suggest that we spend as much time talking and spending thought on the income side of the ledger sheet also.
I agree. And I'm sitting here next to 2 sick people, so my chances of being sick are great.
Well, our income side is limited.
Well,
We
I'm
have,
not running the
we
figure.
have
You can
great
take my-
ability
You sure?
to better
Yeah, I think
spend
it's
our
more.
expense side, so.
All right, let's move along. Thank you, gentlemen. Appreciate it. Have a great
Thanks,
day. Be
guys.
safe.
Invocation.
Put that damn mask on. There you go. Appreciate it. Man, I don't have a
That's
prayer.
That's our numbers are looking better.
I don't have a prayer, Judge. I'm sitting
You're
right between.
toast.
I've gotta be healthy.
All right,
Morning.
Taylor Wofford, good morning.
Judge, going back to our last conversation, you have to remember, I spent 6 years in the Marine Corps. Our motto was train like you fight, fight like you train.
So you like live fire better
And-
than digital?
Yeah, the less, the more time, the more sweat you do in peace, the less you bleed in battle. So that was beat into me for 6 years, so that's gonna be hard to get out of me. But, first item, I'll give you my numbers first. Today, we have 236, Boyle is 77, Mercer's 35, Department of Corrections is 119, and I'm holding 5 for other counties. And then you all should have received a letter from Kellwell. They're going to, starting effective January the 1st, they're going to increase our food cost by 5%, which is due to what it tells in here, gas prices and the cost of food and everything's gone up. So we're looking on the low end, probably looking at $15,000 on the low end for our meals. And that, of course, that depends on our numbers as well.
So we gotta keep that in mind as we go through the budget season upcoming, starting in January of next year, so.
Yeah, that'll
It's
become
more expensive.
Yep.
And then also, if there's no questions on that, on the second item, I would like to purchase a vehicle out of my canteen account, which is money, it's not tax money, it's money we collect there at the jail. What I would like to do is purchase a vehicle to use for our county inmate community work crew, and then I would like to take the white truck that we have and give it to recycling because they are in need of a vehicle. There's been some issues where they've needed to borrow vehicles from us. And technically, I'm audited on those vehicles that come out of the canteen money, and they have to be used for the benefit or for the inmates, so I can get jammed up on that. So I know they're having a problem finding a vehicle right now. So this would give them a vehicle to use until they're able to purchase a new vehicle. Then they would also have a spare vehicle, use this vehicle as a backup in case one of their other vehicles go down. So I would like to request that I go out the process to get 3 bids. I'm not gonna buy a new one. I'm gonna try to find one between 16 and 30,000 miles on it, if I can, and I know that's like finding a needle in a haystack.
Sometimes they're more expensive than new ones.
They are.
Phil will say his, he doesn't use it.
You'd be surprised what I've been offered for that used vehicle.
But, so I'd like to request that fiscal court approve.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion to approve a vehicle transfer and he will take
For
the,
bids.
for bids.
And the vehicle we should get it back today. The power steering pump went out, so I'll go ahead and fix that. We should get it back from the shop today and pay for that. So on Wednesday, if you all wanted to transfer that vehicle, I can go ahead and transfer it because we finally have the black vehicle that I purchased from the county. Should be ready today or tomorrow. So I'll have that vehicle
Get
to
it in
use.
good running shape before you transfer it.
It is. I'll make sure
But
everything's.
another thing, the way I understand it, you made a comment, and I agree with you. The vehicles have to be used for inmates, but if an inmate is working with solid waste over there with Angela,
That doesn't work. It's a separate, they look at it, it has to be used as a program or to transport.
in other words,
Because it's going,
if you got 2 or 3 inmates working,
it doesn't count because that vehicle's being used for that county department and not, they don't look at it that
don't make
way.
no sense.
Listen,
I don't disagree with that.
I don't, and I run into this all the time. There's a lot of little technical things that people don't understand, like, well, why can't you do this? And I can't because of Department of Correction, or there's a KAR, there's a KRS out there that says you have to do certain things certain ways. And I beat my head against the wall.
Who's looking at you when you do that?
The auditors, when they come in and audit. Like I
The
say,
DOC.
It'd be caught.
That white truck wasn't bought through the canteen, it was given to you by Waste Management.
it was come from them, but we maintained through canteen
Okay,
funds.
okay.
So that's where that comes in.
So really, you got it from them and you.
Well,
you just turn around
we
back.
got it because it was surplus, so it actually was just a county vehicle that we took and repaired and put back on the road.
Okay.
But we used inmate labor and canteen funds to do that, so that's where it gets us.
Well, they need the truck, I have to agree with you.
So,
Yeah,
like I
like
say,
that.
this will help them out, have a vehicle until they can find, I guess they're trying to find a vehicle, but and then they'll have a backup, because I know one of the other trucks is a little older, so it'll
We
help
have a
them.
motion made to make the transfer and the advertisement bids made by Magistrate Gay and seconded by Magistrate Cullen. Now, is there any discussion on that we've already kind of talked about?
Nope.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, and the motion carries. Thank you. Do we need any action from us on the increase of 5% on the Kellwell contract?
No,
Or
but
just acknowledgement?
I just wanted to acknowledge that, that way you'll know it's going up in January, and then when we start working on our budget, at the end of January, 1st of February, we'll know to
Okay.
add that in there. But I just wanted to make sure you all aware that there's gonna be an increase.
Okay. Very
I
good,
know.
thank you.
All right.
Before he gets out, could I raise a question? When are we gonna get back into fixing the jail? And when are we gonna get back into it? When are we gonna start back CCJC again? We've talked about bringing those folks back together and needing their input into this whole discussion.
And I can answer the CJCC part. We wanted to wait until we were making progress on the jail.
Okay.
So I guess the thing that's holding us up is finding a piece of property to move recycling in the road department out. Because I didn't want to have meetings just to meet, because we couldn't, it's just a waste of time. So I wanted to wait until we know they're going to be moved out, and then start the CJCC back up. And I've met with Julie and the judge, and
We're
and
working
the
on that.
magistrate.
We're getting a lot of people looking beyond ourselves right
Okay.
now.
So that's the
But
holdup,
we
is
do
the
have
property.
an arrangement of working with the city to help us with potential future on EMS, so we have to try to find a home for both, Public Works and Environmental Service. Excuse me?
Really close with the city.
Yes.
Probably by January, we'll have something for you to look at,
Good.
okay?
Anyone reach out to the state again about KSD? I mean, Mike mentioned it earlier. There's so many empty buildings over there that are just falling in that we could utilize in our own town. Would love to have some of that property that the school is not using. So I would love to somehow get somebody to talk to.
Well, okay,
KDE.
for Public Works, we're looking at, and Environmental Services.
You don't have to
we're
tell
looking-
us where, but
We're looking at locations that are already established in warehousing along Stewart's Lane and on both sides, north and south, and other places around the county where we don't have to put up a building. But, we're looking at all these things, and we're doing it every week.
Yeah.
We're engaged in doing this.
I'm just saying, let's not lose sight on that KSD property, because it would be great.
Well,
to
some
see
of that KSD property, in all honesty, some of those buildings where the Danville City Schools, had a organization there towards Second Street, those buildings along Second Street that face Second Street and back, I would love to be able, to utilize for, some purposes that might be would be crossways with the school being over 1,500 feet away, but I could see those being a viable, if we were within legal distance away from the school, the student base of the school, to utilize some of those facilities. I would love to for homeless needs or a transitory short-term living, but it's too close, and unfortunately, but those buildings are not being utilized at all, and they're almost like dormitory setups with individual rooms and baths.
Yeah, no, I would not.
I agree with Jason's comment about, though, we need to.
All I want to
get
do is
that-
re-engage the state, KDE, to see about.
For what buildings purposely?
Don't put the cart before the horse here. We need to be able to see if they're willing to release those buildings, and then we can start talking about how to
We have
best
to go
utilize them.
To the state, yes. But
Because-
we had really a gentleman agreement, several years ago, it's been now, John, with the city of Danville on the property that they took up and under us out on the bypass. That we were gonna get 3 to 5 acres for the, White's Park area.
which
Does that fell through?
No, we're actively engaged in, we're keeping, of the 5, we're keeping 2 in Veterans Park. So there's 3.1 that is tradable with the city in some capacity. And we have a plan, and we just need to brief you on it once it's more solidified. But it will be of benefit to the county to do what we're currently talking about. And I'll be glad to share it with you privately until we have a more defined, agreement.
All right.
Speculation of that.
Right.
But I thank you for bringing that up, because I do get a lot of questions.
Well, I do too. And
About where we at with the jail, when we're gonna start back meeting.
Exactly. And just in case you haven't read the report that was done 3 or 4 years ago, or don't have a copy, and some of y'all weren't not on the court then, I would suggest that you go and get a copy and read it, and it kind of brings you up to date on what was said. I need to reread it. It's been a while since I've looked at it. So it was well done, points out a lot of the things we'll be talking about, and corrections that we need to make, and the difficulty that it makes the way that it is now for his folks. And so I would suggest that, and we need to do that.
And I want to give you an update too. We are down 10 now on staffing. I spoke with Chad yesterday, and I think we're at 3.5 that possibly going to hire, hopefully next week. So that'll help us out a little bit. But we're down 10, and we're still overtime with the mandatory overtime. We had to run a shift.
$1.50 didn't help.
It helped, but we had to let one go. It's one of those things. I can only lower my standards so low, then it becomes pretty much criminal, and I can't lower them any lower. But it is helping on. We're getting better quality applicants coming in. Of course, it takes a while because we have to do the background checks and everything associated with it. But I think it's definitely going to help us. And of course, morale's better, and I think we're going to be able to keep people with that. And like I say, what I'd like to do when we start on the budget is I would like for our starting pay to be 15, and then instead of doing a raise across the board, just do those first couple. It's been there a couple of years, so somebody's not starting out making more than them. It's been there for 2 years. Just kind of raise that, I guess, the front end up just a little bit. And then, like I said, I was watching on the phone outside, and I think the insurance benefits will be a big plus on getting people and keeping people, because the insurance is outrageous. And I think that would go a long way with attracting quality people and for us to be able to hold on to people. If we offer that
Real quick, this is the 3rd department I've heard very, very recently bring up the cost of family insurance. We heard about it this morning in the sheriff's department.
And I have a lot of employees that can't afford, they may just be married and they can't afford to put their spouse on insurance because, they'd almost be working for nothing. So I'm glad to see you all moving on. Thank you all. Have a
Well, hey, you just,
appreciate it.
Brian, you just had a birthday on the 10th, right? November 10th?
No, my daughter just had one Sunday.
No, I believe you mentioned Marine Corps, right?
Oh, yeah, the Marine Corps.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Marine
yeah.
Corps.
Yeah, Marine Corps birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always, Ron Reagan always had that one quote: some people spend an entire lifetime wondering if they made a difference in this world. The Marines don't have that problem. Thank you for your service, buddy.
That's true. Thank you all.
All right, next, we have a compensatory time agreement. Shannon Green is not here today.
Make that
So
motion.
we have a motion to award
Darlene,
the
right?
Darlene Lanham, the compensatory time agreement. So the motion's been made by Magistrate Cullen. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Magistrate Gay. Any discussion on the request? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. All right, Darlene, now you're up. Updates on the financials.
Microphone. She needs a mic.
Sorry.
Thank you. Not really a lot to update, just more letting you all know what I've been doing. The first couple weeks, I've gotten to attend the first joint jail meeting, learning a little bit more about that. Looking forward to
spending more time trying to, get all that straight out and understand, exactly where all the differences are and what I need to do. I've been just getting familiar with all the records, paperwork, possibly making a few little paperwork changes just to make things more clear. But I'll bring those to you all before, anything like that's done, so you can just see what I've got and what I'm looking at. Just small things with forms and stuff. I've also been looking at record retention, different options that are available, different things we might need to do to simplify some things, clear out some areas, change just a few little processes. And I just wanted to say thank you all to all of you all for having faith in me and giving me time to get into this position and find my way and try and take what I know from my time before and bring it in and hopefully just gel it all together and, make a great system going forward.
I appreciate the comments, and I know that Darlene has expressed her appreciation of the team concept that we have here in this office and everybody pulling together to work on things. She has brought some recommendations that worked really well in Lincoln, and she's becoming more and more familiar with the different way that we do things here in Boyle. And those two, the blended together going forward, will probably, I feel like, make a enhanced best product between the good things of both counties.
And I'm sorry, I do need to add one thing I forgot. We did get a new bank account opened up for the House Bill 556 monies for the jail, that we're just putting money in, depositing. Nothing's going to be taken out until next fiscal year when everything goes on the budget. So that's just going to be a deposit only at this
Yeah, we don't
moment.
have to do any budget amendments because we're not spending any of that money that's being deposited from 556.
Well, I'm happy you're getting acquainted with everything, and I'm looking forward to see what improvements you think you can make. I can only imagine that you have a lot of items out there that you need to understand and fix, hopefully to help streamline the way things are done here. And so I'm excited to see what comes from this. So, and we're all here to help.
Yes.
With
Thank
what you
you.
need. So please let me know if there's anything I can do, or either magistrates. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, it's time to go with committee reports, and we'll start over here. Committee report, if you don't have a committee report, I'll give you a few minutes to do a district report.
No committee report. Quickly, I think everybody might know, but joint jail is going to change slightly because Judge Dedman has taken another position. So if you did not know that, he will not be involved with joint jail anymore.
Did not know that. What's he doing?
Judge?
He is taking a job in Frankfurt with the state as the Deputy Director of Kentucky Infrastructure Authority.
Oh, really? Didn't know that.
Secondly, please come out on Saturday evening.
Excuse me, they appointed another judge over there yet?
They've got
Yes,
an interim,
they
but I
have.
don't know the name.
Scott Mosley from Harrisburg. That's who, they was appointed by the governor last week, late last week. Yeah, Friday. So I want to plan to go over the first part of next week and sit down and have a visit with him to establish the continued rapport that we've had with Mercer County over the last 3 years.
Please come out on Saturday at 6 o'clock or actually you can come out all day long. There are festivities in Perryville, but a Christmas parade, and the judge is participating, and I'm considering coming as well with my truck. Secondly, tomorrow at 9:05, please listen to the radio station, because the judge and the mayor of Perryville and I will be on there talking about Pulse of the People. Pulse of the People, and thank you, Missy. We're going to be getting the word out that we're going to have that on December 2nd, just before the meeting of the Perryville City Council. I wrote yesterday, several of you received a copy of it, my concerns that we have at least one gentleman, actually I've got two, who are very interested if the state were to deaccession the Crawford House. I totally agree that something has to happen. I even included our friend, the commissioner, in my distribution, Commissioner of Parks, because he is passionate about, I guess it's finance, correct, Chris?
Right. I mean, I don't understand why they haven't signed it. You know, they said that they might need to make some changes. They did. It wasn't a big deal. They just added an extra signer on there, and I haven't.
If you only knew what the condition of Pleasantville, the place where the first political club was meeting, Judge Samuel McDowell's home, in the 80s, there were 2 women living in that place, and today it is collapsing. And we have one wall at the Crawford House, which Judge and I looked at when we were over there with the commissioner, and it could collapse if we don't get.
It's got to get something done soon.
And that is an integral part of the Gettysburg of the West.
I want the public to know that the county, this court, myself, and our county attorney, Chris Herron, have done all we can do to make this situation whole.
We pushed it and pushed it even at a major meeting, and we just need the state to act. That's all, Judge.
Okay, thank you. That's the
No committee reports. I just want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, happy and safe Thanksgiving, and a lot to be thankful for. I'm thankful to be part of this court and for each of you all and your families. So happy Thanksgiving to all. I do want to encourage everyone to continue to get your vaccines and get your boosters if you haven't. That still is our only way out of the pandemic, and the pandemic still exists and is still with us. So please stay safe, get your vaccines, get your boosters.
I heard today that the White House is claiming that 95% of this country have been vaccinated once.
That would be great if that's the case.
One shot.
One shot. They didn't get the second.
They didn't say anything about the second. They said 95% of the country has had one vaccination.
That's great.
Okay.
Well, they need to get the other.
I've got my booster.
All right.
I'm still standing.
Booster took my wife down. She's way tougher than I am. So.
Mr. Cullen.
I will say we do have a committee report, and I'm going to read it from this morning. We met. Sheriff's Committee met this morning. President were Magistrate Caywood, myself, and Sheriff Robbins. Sheriff's Department is down 2 deputies, but they're only looking to replace 1 at this time. Like with everything, they're trying to offset and offer a little bit more pay to attract some deputies here. We talked a little bit about concealed carry licensing is still down, almost non-existent at this point, which is a shame. I still have mine, and I highly recommend if you guys carry, get it. You don't want to cross lines and find out the hard way that you should have had it. We did talk about homelessness this morning, and Sheriff said it's not as big of an issue out in the county as it is specifically within the city. Vehicles are all in good shape. The newest we picked up, one thing that I didn't know, but when Sheriff Robbins came on, the Sheriff's Department had about a $200,000 outstanding debt on some of the cars that it had bought, and really were only making interest payments on it, and he put a stop to that, paid them off, and basically any vehicles that he buys now are no longer financed, which is great.
Good. It is great.
I think a lot of it has to go with him buying the vehicles that have a higher trade-in or resale
trade-in value. Mm-hmm.
Trade-in value. So kudos to Sheriff Robbins for that one. Cameras are doing really well and have been a great tool. And he said Sam's keeping busy, but they they did a good job learning how things were happening over at Danville, and they've implemented some changes to kind of make sure that we're not repeating some mistakes here or there to save on costs. Overall, Sheriff's Department's running well. Like I said, they are short a couple people. And the one thing that he talked about, I think John and I were both surprised, is that the tax collection box outside hasn't been used as much. People are still coming in to pay their taxes. And although he thinks that, coming up this weekend, people will utilize it now that the discounted period's coming to an end. But that's my report.
May I add one thing?
Of course.
I think he said percentage of taxes being paid, having been paid, is better than last year.
Yeah, he said
So
it's up.
that's going
that's
good.
good.
Collection is good
Yeah.
from what he said this morning, so.
That's good.
Yeah, no, he did. He said it's up a lot this time than it was last year. And I don't mean to keep harping, but when you got something good, this team that we have here has done a great job. Really making sure that the revenue is collected.
They have, and we're continuing to work to improve on that all the time, so.
Correct. So the more revenue is collected, the better services that this fiscal court can provide.
And I want to also mention, since you talked about cameras, that this court, in its wisdom, did provide surplus cameras that were bought several years ago to the city of Perryville and offered them at no cost to the taxpayers, to the city of Perryville, and those are engaged. I happened to be down there taking my grandson to school at Perryville Elementary this week, and stopped in, and the chief of police in Perryville had his body cam on, so they're in use.
They're
Good.
most appreciated.
Yeah. So
Good.
thank you.
That's all I have for that committee report.
Anything on the district report?
Did you want to vote on that committee report first?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
I'll make a motion. Are you making a
I'll make
motion
the
to
motion.
accept it, and I'll second it?
Motion been
Thank
made
you
by
very
Magistrate
much.
Cullen to accept the committee report as presented, and seconded by Magistrate Caywood. Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Uh,
Okay.
Only because I think it deserves some extra attention. Again, thank you to the Garden Club for the Blue Star Memorial. I'm glad I haven't gotten in an accident because I still look over and see that little monument as I'm driving down Main Street. So I'm appreciative for that memorial, appreciative for the service of our veterans, and thankful for the Garden Club for taking the initiative. Also want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Sadly, I'm leaving Kentucky for a few days, but always makes a nice drive to come back. So, and then I was happy to run over to Ronnie's district on Sunday. The fire department there had their
Chili supper.
first chili cook-off, and I went home full. It was good.
Did you win any of the auction?
Oh yeah, I've been on a few things. Got my wife a hat and some car washes. So appreciate the Hoags for their always their generosity for things like that. So my car needs it. So yeah, chili cook-off was great, and I love this community we have. Just being able to go over to see the things that are going on in Ronnie's district or
They're very
Tommy's
active.
district, and it's just great to move around and get to know other people in this community. A lot of y'all grew up here. I didn't, but this is home to me, and I love it here. And so I try to get to know as many people as possible, and got to have some chili with Mayor Douglas, and then Daniel Elliott was there hanging out. I didn't recognize him. He had a baseball hat on. He looked like he was just got done baseball practice for the high school. He's so young looking. So anyway, but it was great. So kudos to Junction City for putting on a great thing, and I'm looking forward to some stuff Perryville's got going on as well.
Well, Junction, I want to echo what Magistrate Cullen has said about Junction Fire, the fire department there. Their auxiliary had this chili cook-off, and it was excellent and well attended.
Yeah.
With a silent auction that helped raise funds. Those funds that they do with the chili cook-offs and breakfasts and suppers and one thing or another help them to finance completely the acquisition of a fire truck from the city of Danville at no cost to the public.
Yeah.
This is huge. And I want to remind everybody that's watching or this court that on Saturday the 11th of December, starting at 8 o'clock, they will have a breakfast there. And it'd be well worth attending to go to that breakfast in the City Hall Fire Station there on Shelby Street. And that night, it's a busy day for Junction City Fire, they will have their Christmas supper that night starting at 5 o'clock in the same location. So just want to throw those out.
Just that building alone, it's a great building.
Oh, it is. It is.
That they've
Absolutely.
done done well with. So, and then 4th District, we're working on hopefully a couple pulses of people in the next couple of months.
I still owe you a confirmation about the one location that I want to check on, but yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I know you're a busy
Getting to the
man,
4th.
serving this community, and you do a great job, sir.
Thank you, thank you. We all do. It's a team effort.
Judge, point of
Yes,
order,
sir.
and I did not mention everybody having a wonderful Thanksgiving, but unless somebody else has something different, in your own words, could you adjourn us in the spirit of the intention of Thanksgiving?
Absolutely. Be glad to do that. Be glad to do that.
Hold on. Oh, yeah, you want to speak?
Counselor?
I just want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. I always look forward to Thanksgiving. It's probably one of my favorite holidays for eating and giving thanks, of course. I just wanted to let everyone know, if you know of any shut-ins, my church, Lexington Avenue Baptist Church, is having a community-wide Turkey Day meal. You can call 236-3565, and they'll actually deliver it to you. Or if you don't, you can show up. They're not having a dinner within the church, but they'll pack you a to-go bag box. It goes from 11 to 2 on Thursday, which is Thanksgiving. So just if you know any shut-ins and so forth, I think that would be a great thing to take advantage of. And want to wish the Center Women's Girls Soccer congratulations on a great season this year, and also want to wish the Boyle County Rebels good luck as they play Logan County this Friday night. If they win, they will go to the state championship the following Friday at, I think it's like 7 or 8 p.m. there at Kroger Stadium in Lexington. So that's all I have.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Manager Sammons.
Thank you, sir. Starting out, I want to amen what my counterpart over there, Jamie, said about getting you being vaccinated. I'm with him 100% on that. Also, I'd like to add that to what the counselor said about delivering meals. The organization I'm in, Helping Hands, we're delivering turkey dinners to several people this Wednesday, well, tomorrow, matter of fact. And I'm taking one or two out to different people that we feel are real needy. Sitting here listening to my Yankee friend over there, evidently we want to welcome you. You're still a newcomer to this community, and it seems to me like you're adapting pretty well. So the only other thing, Judge, I have is, matter of fact, says he is traveling. I will, for one, wish you a safe journey to everywhere you're going and back, and anyone else is traveling, just be careful, because people are crazy. I'm telling you, I drove out of town over the weekend, and it's hard to, you never know when someone's going to pull out in front of you.
Right.
So you gotta drive with both eyes open. So everybody stay safe, and remember what Thanksgiving is really for. Let's be thankful for what we have.
There's any committee reports that you're a part of?
I don't have any.
Okay.
My counterpart doesn't have any either, don't think, do we?
I do.
We have one?
No, I mean, you don't, but
Oh, okay.
John Caywood does.
I don't have any, Judge.
All right, thank you.
We had a personnel committee, that was yesterday, yeah. And, what we discussed the vacation time that people is gonna have to, that could not use this year. Just wasn't no way they could use it, so we recommended that we go ahead and roll them over to this next year, so they won't lose their vacation time, so that's what the committee agreed to do. So that was our committee report, me and John and the judge, Julie.
Hey, will you give him a mic?
I need to make a motion.
He's close there.
No, he's not.
I ain't gonna re-say all that.
No, you're fine.
No, make a motion on the recommendation that.
I'm making a motion on the recommendation to, roll over the vacation time for people that
Second
they
that.
rolled over.
Motion made by Magistrate Short, seconded by Magistrate Cullen to roll over the vacation time earned to allow our employees maximum flexibility to use that time in the service of the county that they have acquired. Is there any comments or discussions about that?
Is this yeah, I agree, it is a good idea, but is this a one-time kind of thing, and is there a cap on the amount of vacation time that people can accrue?
Go ahead.
Okay. We did not put a cap on that, and here's the problem. I think we're down 11. We have 11 in EMS that have hours to roll over. I think there's 8, Missy, correct me if I'm wrong, in the jail and 6 in Public Works. So it's shortfall of people except for Public Works. We can't cut off vacation time that they've earned when we can't let them take it off. So we don't have another answer for this right now. You know what it's like at EMS. I think the Personnel Committee is going to study this a little more, but for now we need to give the employees some kind of answer on their benefit that they've earned, because they, especially with EMS, they just can't take the time off.
So do we need to maybe clarify that we're allowing them to roll over 21 time?
This year, we're
Yes.
gonna allow them to roll it all over,
Yeah, everything, yeah.
everything over.
Because they, not only did they accrue from the, last year when we rolled it over, it's all the new vacation that they've accrued as well. And I have the balances if you'd like to see those per
sheet.
employee.
No, I'm okay.
And it is large, I think. Some of these are 300 hours or more.
I guess the rest of the question is, and I don't know the answer to this, maybe
I might not either.
when somebody leaves, do they get their vacation time?
Not right now.
Does that become, okay, I just want to make sure that doesn't become a liability on our books.
And that's what we need to talk about.
Because otherwise, we have to make sure we're budgeting
Right,
appropriately.
right now, no.
For that.
Comp time's different.
Yeah.
Now, to clarify Magistrate Cullen's question, some might have, because COVID started in March of 20, are we, and I'm not against it, are we saying back to March of 2020?
Well, they've just been accruing. They've
That
just been
time's
accruing. Yeah.
It's just gonna roll over. Now,
Remember,
there
we rolled this over in 20,
Mhm.
and here it is, the end of 21, and we.
Okay, still have some.
Yeah. And it's not getting any better. I can tell you, when you have up to 30 runs a day at EMS, it's not getting any better. We don't know what the answer is, but we know we owe it to our employees at least to make a quick answer for now. And then
No,
I think we have to,
And that's where I don't want to hear anybody say that or think that I'm against it. I'm not against it. I'm just
know
wanting
that.
to make sure we're
Yeah.
doing it appropriately for our budget purposes.
but there will be no buyouts right now. We're not
No.
recommending that at
No.
all.
And,
309 hours is the highest that a person is rolling on.
So, yeah, I'll get you a copy of the sheet.
These are earned hours?
Yes. Yes.
Hard-earned hours
Yes.
over these last 2 years?
They had no choice.
Yeah.
They couldn't take off.
Yeah, so it's like, I want to take off, no, you can't, and you don't get your vacation time, so.
Well, you can't do that.
Yeah, no, this is an easy, let's roll it,
Yeah.
you know?
there are several other things that I have, from my experience, that I want to engage with the new Human Resources Director once that person comes on board, because I see a lot of things in our administrative code and our personnel policies that need dramatic review and change to some degree to bring us into current times.
And Judge,
true.
when did you want to have that first session on the HR position?
We're accepting resumes through November 30th. We've got 22 or 23 right now, and they're coming in about one every day or so. I would expect the Personnel Committee at the end of the month will start looking at
Yeah,
those.
and I will say this, we have some excellent candidates.
Yes,
Excellent
we set the bar high on what we wanted, so
And
hopefully.
it's being met by the applications that are coming in and the qualifications of several of the applicants.
Good job, sir.
Excited
Yeah,
about that.
Good job, sir.
We need to approve that.
Yes, your motion.
My motion is.
All right. The motion before the court is to accept the recommendation of the Personnel Committee, and it was made by Magistrate Short and seconded by, just for refresher,
Me.
Magistrate Cullen. Any more discussion on that? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, and the motion carries unanimously.
All right, Sunday afternoon, our church went in with Center Point, and we fixed meals. I think they delivered 1,050 meals Sunday. for the community. So it was a big effort for both churches to do this. And I wasn't able to go to the chili supper because I was in Tom's area. They had their community service for Thanksgiving for all the churches in Perryville. And we was invited to go sing. So me and my sisters and we went and sung that night. So, but I love chili, but I was already committed somewhere else. But
When I called Ronnie, asked him when he was coming, I could hear a tear in his voice. So I said chili.
Boy, we learned something at this court meeting I did not know, that I've known him a long time. I didn't know that he had a beautiful voice.
Well, that's great, that's great.
not today.
He gave it all on Sunday.
That's when I got a voice because all the singing I did Sunday. So, but anyway.
Anything else?
That's it.
Okay, thank
Hey,
you.
everybody have a good Thanksgiving.
Ronnie, I'm glad to see somebody over there is dressed up for court today. You look good over there, sir.
And he's got.
I thought it was picture day. I mean, I just got the memo. Thought they'd take a picture.
Where's your tie?
And me and Jamie are
Oh, he
carrying
wearing
this
no
side.
tie.
There's the Caywood, your turn.
Well, I apologize, I've got several. First, I didn't know we had a dress code, but I'm glad to know that now, and I will take it appropriately. I wish everybody a wonderful Thanksgiving, be thankful for all the things we have. And certainly the judge knows us in his travels, and I know a little bit. We are very, very fortunate in what we have and
So
the
blessed.
blessings we have. When you look at other countries and what they endure, so be thankful for what we have.
John, if you don't-
The city,
John,
the,
Can I ask you a
excuse
question
me.
real quick?
Yes, sir.
Just out of curiosity, how many Thanksgivings did you spend away from your family serving this country?
Two.
Phil?
You know, just as a sad note, Christmas and New Year's are the toughest probably.
Oh,
I
yeah.
bet.
That's when you pass, if you're lucky, in the field, you pass around a fifth of whiskey and everybody takes a drop. So,
Wow.
anyway,
Cigarettes and whiskey.
if you're lucky. Last meeting, I asked about Christmas decorations at Constitution Square. Any progress or any report?
There is, and Julie has some
Yes,
answers
please,
to that.
thank you.
Okay, I talked to the chamber, I've talked to Dwayne, and the chamber has ordered enough candles for every window in the park, and the chamber has ordered enough wreaths for every door in the park. So they're taking care of that piece. We have 23 light poles, I believe it is. They have been inventory and greenery and bows. Dwayne's gonna take care of the greenery and bows. So we're all covered up
That's
and taken
great.
care of.
Thanks.
It's gonna cost the county very little money.
Thank
So-
you very much for that. I think the public in the town and the community will really enjoy that. I hope
I'm
so.
looking forward to it being
When's the
decorated.
parade?
Yeah. Is this the first time we've done this, John?
I think to this extent, they're,
I'm talking about with the wreaths.
the tenants,
whatever. I
the
don't
tenants,
remember.
I think the wreaths have been on every door, but the lights were often, they would be in one building and not in another building, depending upon whether there was a tenant there or not. So I think the fact that it's coordinated will make a huge
Everything's
effect.
gonna be uniform.
Yeah, make a huge
Nice.
effect. Thank you all for doing that. Remind you all that the city-county lunch is December the 8th that the VFW puts on, so that's always special, and it's really nice that they do that. Would once,
That's out at the.
VFW,
VFW.
VFW
On
building.
Stanford Road.
We didn't do
Would-
it last year, did
No.
Yeah,
No.
they did not do it last year.
It's at the showroom.
Oh, that's where it is. It's at the showroom.
They
Is
That's
that
right.
the showroom? Okay.
That's even
So-
better.
Yeah, thank you for that. Would remind everybody
No
that
problem,
it's
y'all.
important to all the businesses to try to do your shopping at home, and, yes, I am one of those, but I speak for all the others, so. The last thing is something that has bothered me for the last several meetings. I call it the health of Boyle County. COVID has affected people mentally, more so than maybe what I think we realize. We've heard more about homelessness, and there's been more discussion in the last couple of meetings than I ever remember in 20 years of this. We continue to have drugs issues, suicide issues, things that we don't bring up in these meetings, and they're not really fun to talk about, and that's why I think we don't spend a lot of time on them. However, it does tell us something about the health of our county, and I think that's as important as many other things that we talk about. My idea, and I want you all's input, please, my idea is that we start to have some folks who kind of specialize in this area come and share their findings with us. I learned something, let me just give you an example. I was talking to a center professor, and this professor was telling me the difference in her students this year compared to before, and the changes that they had made, and what it was more difficult. And she felt like the COVID and all of that lack of social interaction that they have with each other has really affected them. These are the things that is part of our job in our county that we can try to help, find a place that we can be helpful in to make a better county. My suggestion is, if you all agree, is that we start bringing people in to talk about this, and my suggestion is that the first one come in January, maybe we start the year off. And that person be Kathy Miles, that we consider inviting her and putting her on the agenda. You set the agenda, Judge. But maybe that's a good start because this is her wheelhouse, as you might say. Her strength, she has many strengths, a very fine lady. But I think she can kind of start this fact-finding program off to help us better understand where we can help and kind of the underbelly of Boyle County, the things that we don't always like to look at and learn about. But I think it makes us better people in the roles that we are in if we learn what's really going on in a little bit of the dark side of the county. Every county has them. I think we need to know about them. I asked the other members of the court to join in, whether they agree. And if you disagree, that's okay.
Certainly in the spirit of Thanksgiving.
Well, I fully believe that this county is a very compassionate county to those of lesser blessings, I'll use the term, that are out there. We have a lot of agencies that are doing great things and reach out, but maybe we need to have, as a guiding light from this court, a collaborative effort to bring all those, so there can be overlap, but so that the focused needs are being met in every regard of those that exist throughout the county, whether it be homelessness, suicide prevention, or I think this is what you're talking about, John, is to bring these together and have a Thanksgiving type council or a people of advisors that advise this court on those shortcoming needs that they have to fulfill their obligation to meet the demands of the less fortunate amongst us.
As we are also, as we are a public meeting, the public will hear, if they tune in, will hear what is said, because I think we don't always know of this that is here. And there's places that we can have a greater understanding of our county because we know. It's knowledge that we know what goes on. It's just a thought.
It's a good thought.
It's a good
because
thought.
There definitely is a lot more stress and mental health concerns and issues going on in all of our lives, in our county and all of our workplaces. Just, and I agree with what you were saying about the Senate professor. It's been an interesting dynamic because, you know, our class of freshmen, first-year students at Center, you know, you have to consider the fact that most of them did their entire senior year of learning online, and so they're now back in the classroom, and it's been an interesting dynamic to see how that has played itself out. You know, that's happening all across the country, for that matter. And so you have a group of students that didn't had a whole year without having a full in-person classroom experience. So that's something we've never experienced before.
I don't think people realize the value and the importance of interaction with each other. I was a sociology major, and I learned a lot about it, and it's a very important part of our values and of our growing in life, and how we treat each other and love each other. And there's not as much love today in this world that I remember growing up in my past. So we need to learn more about this area, and mental health is so important. You know, there used to be mental health hospitals. Not really much anymore do you hear about this subject, but COVID has changed that, in my opinion. So it's just an area that I just think we need to learn more about.
Well, I agree with you, and I agree with what Jamie is saying. I have 5 kids in school, grade school, from second grade all the way to junior and high school, and being able to mix with their fellow students. You know, they lost a lot last year, and it's just amazing to me what the connection now that they have that they didn't have a year ago. You know, that's something they really need. Another thing about mental health, I think right today, I don't know if you agree with me or not,
Ronnie.
I think so many people are you don't hear about it because it seems like it's something that's kind of hidden, and I don't really like that. I think if they need help, they need to come on out and share that with us, or share it with your friends and so on. But I think we have a lot more than we think, and I think COVID didn't help it any, you know.
No, it didn't.
So thank you, John, for a great report.
Thank you, John. What else do you have?
That's it.
Well, I'm just listening to all of y'all speak, and I want to say that it is personally a great honor for me to be a part of this court, because I see such humanity and compassion to reach out to every aspect of our county's existence, history, function, and responsibility. And we're all committed to making Boyle County a better place to live for all involved. And a motto that I've kind of had for my life and is to make our tomorrows better than today. And so it's a great honor for me to personally serve with each and every one of you, because I see that in you. And it's not just words coming out of your mouth. It's actual humanity and passion for those and throughout this county, both in need and just to improve the quality of life where we can in each regard. So I don't really have anything. I plan to be at the Boyle County, Logan County football game Friday night. I'm excited about it.
there, don't you?
Yeah, because my wife is from Logan County, but we will both be pulling, I bet you, for Boyle County. So,
Be there, be square.
yeah, be there and be square. So I'm excited, looking forward to that. Entertain a motion to adjourn, and I will adjourn us with the recommendation from Magistrate Ellis on the season of Thanksgiving.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion made by Magistrate Short and seconded by Magistrate Cullen to adjourn. this season of Thanksgiving is so important to our nation, and it started with the very founding of who we are as a country. And we gave thanks to a higher power that brought us together and saved lives and created a society and a culture from nothing when our first settlers came to this country. And they shared that with the people who were here before them, our Indians and our brothers. And that Thanksgiving has set a standard of appreciation that God has given this country its grace and bountiful harvest of everything natural and positive in this country. So they expressed it with a feast. Right. And that tradition has lasted for over 230 years. And I want to say how thankful I am to be living in Boyle County. How thankful I am to, like I say, be a member of this court and to be a part of moving this county forward. But I'm thankful for my family. I'm thankful for each one of you, your friendships individually. I'm thankful for the people that we have the opportunity to influence their lives on a regular basis through our actions and activities, whether it be an EMS stretcher or new bags for EMS or funding for our jail to improve our quality of life for our deputy jailers, public works, wherever it may be, we're helping to improve this county. And I'm thankful for that vision and that ability to carry forward and for our local neighbors and residents. So we have much to be thankful for with our families. And I do offer a blessing of travel mercies to Magistrate Cullen as he attends a family gathering out of state. And those who will be traveling to be with family this weekend, this week, may your travel mercies go with you to bring you back home safe and sound. So we in this country, I've traveled to 45 countries around this globe, as far away as Kazakhstan and elsewhere. And I've been in barrios and slums and on top of mountaintops and different things. But it's always the best feeling in the world to get back to the United States of America. And we should all be thankful for where we live in this country. Right. Because it is part of a shining light upon this world. And so I am very thankful and blessed to live here in this United States of America, in Kentucky, and in Boyle County, and in Danville area. So with that being said, we all are thankful, and we have a right to be, and let's observe and be thankful. And where those who are less fortunate than us, let's reach out and do what we can to improve their lives in some way, shape, or form. We stand in adjournment. Thank you.
Amen.